Hey everybody, just waiting for Sam and Glenn to join me and we'll start our weekly chat. Hey Curtis, how you doing? Thanks for watching, man. It's kind of weird to be the host up here and not have anyone to talk to yet. Sam and Glenn should be joining any minute. We're going to talk about our favorite guitarists tonight, and favorite being our personal preference, the ones that we like, which doesn't necessarily mean they're the best. No, Steve, not flying solo. Sam and Glenn are joining me momentarily. I'm having to host, I guess, this week. Is there's Glenn. Bring him in here. There he is.
How's it going?
It's going good. I was just telling everyone this is my first time hosting, and I feel kind of silly doing it. But
awesome.
We all got to pop our cherry at some point, right?
Yeah. Well, thank you for welcoming me into your home. This is
no problem.
A beautiful place.
How's it going?
It's going pretty damn good.
Good.
I think. I got the stupid cold again. This is my third one.
Again?
Jeez. I woke up this morning with it again. I just got rid of it like a week ago.
I remember those days when my son's in grade 1 now, but when he first started school, it'd be like every 3 weeks we'd all be sick.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Hey John, how's it going?
John, what's going on? I got a bone to pick with John.
Uh-oh.
Should I do it now?
Do it.
John, shorts. So John's a shorts fan.
Fine. I'm wearing shorts.
Everybody do what they want. I love John. But I thought I'd do a bit of investigating today. Pulled the Columbo on John.
Uh-oh.
I looked up all his shorts. Tried to estimate when he first did his.
You looked up his shorts. What did you see when you looked up his shorts?
Not much. Okay. Pretty embarrassing.
Hey, Martin.
Not much to see there, girls. Anyway, I looked up under his short content and figured out when he kind of did his first short because the dates aren't on them.
Right.
So then I went back and I looked at all his videos from where I thought before he started doing shorts up until today, and his viewership has not changed. He might be getting more subscribers, but these TikTokers who are watching these stupid little shorts are not engaged in his long videos. His views are all over the place like we all are. We have our views where we get like, nobody watches the freaking thing. You get 48 views, and you have another one where 1,000 people watch.
Yeah, exactly.
And his is no different than that. The whole, if you look at it, nothing's changed.
Yeah. Should we have John on here to should we have John on
to discuss this? You can have John up anytime you want.
How do I send a link here? Let me I think I do this.
Just out the bottom where it says send, and then you can put it on the screen, or you can.
There we go.
If you copy and paste it, you can.
Here you go, John. Here's your chance.
Let's get the gloves off.
And if John can throw 10 guitarists together, you can join our discussion too.
Yeah. He's too busy getting all the new viewers out of the way.
Yeah.
So you can't get to the link.
I love that he did a video the other day where he was giving a pointer to those that might want to make YouTube shorts, how to make them so they don't appear in the subscriber feed to piss off your subscribers.
That would be a welcome thing, because I don't know, like when I pull up YouTube, the first thing that comes up is there's a little thing that says subscribers on the side. As soon as I push that, I get all the videos.
Yep.
To click on that have been uploaded recently. And 90% of them now are freaking shorts.
Yep. There's Sam.
It's a plague.
Hey Sam.
Hey Sam. I'm on my short rant again. Sorry.
We'll put on some pants then.
We're waiting for.
I got shorts on, so
Yeah, I got shorts. They're really tight. Damn, they bug me. I gotta get some pictures.
Yeah.
I just did this picture.
John says I'm going to further. Should I come up and discuss? Yes, John.
Yeah, John, come
he's
on up.
Afraid to come up now.
I put the link there, John.
What do y'all
His
think?
viewership is all over the place, just like we all are. Nothing's changed. He'll get 50 views on one video, 70 on the next, 100 on the next, 200 on the next. Nothing's changed where he's consistently risen because he's doing shorts. None.
But maybe it's positively affected his subscriber count.
Oh, of course it does. That's the only reason people are doing it. But these TikTokers who got the,
I can get that. For people that are striving to get monetized, that's a thing.
I get it. But once you reach 1,000, like if you have 3,000 subscribers, do you need 4? I'd like to get to 1,000 threshold. I'd
like to get to 1,000 just to say that I attained that milestone.
It's a great goal. That milestone is fantastic. I was so proud when I got to 1,000, and I think everybody wants to be there. I agree.
You have to for shorts, you have to hit like 10 million views, like 10 million hours, or whatever it is.
No, it has to be 10 million views in 90 days.
Yeah, that's just not good night.
There's John.
Hey. Okay.
Hey, John.
So, hey. Yeah, I love going back and forth with you on this, Glenn. It's perfect because I understand it. I completely get it because I hate the shorts in the feeds. I like the shorts because they allow you to be creative. They allow you to kind of do different things and do things with songs that you like. These are all songs from every album that I have. So that's the fun part. But I didn't want to annoy everybody. So that's why I made that video just for you. That was for you.
No, that was great. And I hope people follow your lead on that. That's perfect. Yeah, I'm telling you.
I was trying to.
There's some channels out there. I'm subscribing to them because I can't stand seeing their everything comes up. I get like 50. Some guys are doing 10 or 20 a day. And
that's too much. It's
my
overkill.
Subscribers and all the videos for the day. I got one guy in particular. I don't want to shout anybody out. That I just looked. I must have 10 videos from him in 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's too much. I do 2 a day, and what I'm finding is I created my other channel now. I don't know if I told you guys yet, but it's that music reactions, and that's where I'm moving all my walk and talks and anything I react to. It goes there. So if I get strikes, it doesn't affect my main channel. That's kind of like my thought behind it. But I'm getting a lot of comments talking to people, and that's what I love. I'm getting tons coming from these shorts of people going, "Oh, I love that song. I haven't heard that song," and stuff like that.
But they're not. It's not generating views on the videos that you want people to watch. It's on these stupid shorts.
Right. It hasn't
a crowd who have the mental capacity of a freaking amoeba.
Right. So I am getting the comments.
Stand in front of a microwave and heat up popcorn. Like they just can't.
Right. And I know where you're coming from on that. So I agree with you 100%. But it is bringing the dialogue in, which I love, the communication. My female audience has come up, which wasn't before.
Well, that's because you got those cute shorts.
That's right. Got my shorts on. Got my tight pants on. So, so I get it. So now I can do it, be creative, and hopefully not annoy people. There's extra steps. It takes a little bit longer to upload it because you actually have to do it on your computer. But people like you who don't want to see it, and I get it. I don't either. I don't want to see 20 shorts in between. I hate the preview stuff. I don't like those either. Yeah. Where you think it's a video and you go to click it and you're like, oh crap, that's on in 2 hours. I don't, unless it's something like I do an impromptu, I'm going to go live tonight. I want to let you guys know real quick. But the premiere stuff kind of drives me crazy, where it's every time they're like, oh, I'm going to let you know my video's coming out.
Yeah.
That kind of makes me crazy. Yeah. So, but I'm with you, Glenn. I get it.
What do you think you're freaking, Michael, somebody, the big movie star or something? The new Beyonce album's coming out,
Right.
Oh boy, I can hardly wait till Jason Pegg's new video's up. Sorry, Jason, I just saw your name. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah. Sorry, that's what it is.
I stepped away for a minute. One of my posters just collapsed, and it scared me half to death. So I had to go clean it up.
Oh, it jumped off the wall?
Yeah, it's a cheap frame. It's my Rat Pack poster, Glenn, that I have in my sunroom, and it just dropped like the one of the frames because it's in 4 pieces. It fell, and the whole thing just dropped. And so
I use those 3M strips instead of nails to hang posters and stuff. And every once in a while they give out, and it just go crash.
It scares me to death. Yeah. So I had to pick it up. So I'll have to figure that out tomorrow, I guess.
Wow.
But
Well, this is cool, being hanging out in a different house.
yeah,
And yet it still looks the same.
Yeah. I noticed he hid his alcohol.
Who?
yeah, indeed.
I don't drink. So
Didn't trust us. I don't drink either.
I'm
So what's your theme
immature with
tonight?
it, enough without it.
I only drink when I'm alone or with someone.
And on days that end in Y.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Until I go to Florida and meet up with John, then I get the feeling then.
There you go.
That's going to be cool. Yeah, there's going to be. Did I tell you guys there's going to be that record show coming up in Tampa?
When?
It's in May. I think the 21st.
May. Whoa.
Yeah. And I'm not sure how. I know it's the guy that used to own the record store I go to, Kingfish.
Yeah.
And he's since he's kind of retired, but he's doing this kind of thing. So he's going to do one in Tampa. And he showed me a picture. It's on Facebook. I'd have to get the info for you guys.
Maybe May might be a good time to target going down there.
Yeah, it'd be kind of cool. It'd be his first time putting one together, but he's got a pretty decent size room to do it in, like an exhibit hall. So,
And it's
yeah,
my
it should be
birthday
fun.
month, Glenn. So you can bring me a cake.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah.
Drop off the cake the
I
same.
find this
Ketchup
funny.
chip cake.
Yeah, right.
I find this funny. Sam's in Virginia, right?
Yeah.
And John's in Florida, and you will have met both of them. I live a couple hours down the highway from Glen, and we've never met.
Never even, yeah. That's that must be hard on you.
I could be if I left right now, I could be at your house before our live stream's over.
Lock the door,
Yeah.
Glenn. Lock the door.
Is that a threat? I don't know what that
Yeah,
is.
I don't know what to say. Lynn, can you lock the door? Thanks.
Yeah.
That's not the pizza man.
I'll wear my
Yeah.
shorts.
Yeah.
Oh.
Can you let Killer off his leash? Thank you.
Wear the tight pants.
Yeah, that's good.
This is good. We got 4 for Euchre. This is perfect.
There we go.
What do you what did y'all think of the before we get into things, what did y'all think of the new McCartney announcement for the documentary?
I didn't see it.
What announcement?
There's a new documentary.
Oh, they're going to
coming
put
out.
McCartney 3 out on colored vinyl?
Yeah, right, color DVD. Yeah. No,
I'll
it's
be right back. One sec.
it's a documentary about that transition between the Beatles and what he did with Wings in the 70s.
Oh, interesting.
It's a verified documentary. So
Very cool.
yeah.
I think that would be really interesting.
Yeah, so I think it's just the 1970s.
Yeah. Oh, I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
I imagine he's got a bit of footage there that no one's seen before, you would think.
Oh yeah, and you get to see all different phases of his mullet too.
No, I love that. I'd love that.
Yeah.
Although it's probably going to be on Disney.
No, I think it's a verified theatrical release.
Oh, really? That'd be
Yeah.
good. Oh, I would watch that for sure. That's not what Peter Jackson's involved with him, is it? Like the new project
No.
that you were talking about?
No, it's going to be called Man on the Run. Yeah, it's through his MPL Entertainment, so the Paul McCartney.
Wow, very good.
I
I hope
it
it's
was
if it's as good as Give My Regards to Broad Street. It should be really good.
That should be
Oh, yeah.
watch out,
Yeah.
Oscars. Yeah, so I'm not sure who is. I'm looking now. Oh, Morgan Neville, who he did the film about Anthony Bourdain called Roadrunner, and he also did the Mr. Rogers documentary. Won't You Be My Neighbor? So he's got some.
That was good. I like that Mr. Rogers one.
I've heard the Anthony Bourdain one's really good too.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. That's such a disappointing. It's such a sad.
Oh
thing.
yeah. What are y'all thoughts about Wings not being a separate entity in the Hall of Fame?
Whoa, well, it was such a short. It's a weird thing because he used it and didn't use it. Like it's almost like he used it when he felt like it. So I don't know if there was a long enough wings. I don't know if there was a long enough wingspan.
Here we go. No pun.
Because Paul McCartney, like Band on the Run, is it Paul McCartney and Wings?
Yep.
Yeah, everything. So from Ram to McCartney 3, everything in between that was Wings.
Ram's just Paul and Linda McCartney.
Well, that's what I'm saying. From like Ram, from Ram onward, like okay, so post Ram, so Wildlife up until, but I guess London Town or Back to the Egg, whichever one was last.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
that's all Wings. So essentially, the duration of the 70s.
Yeah, I know. Hey, maybe they deserve to be in like that. I have no problem with it because I think
because if you
that was fantastic.
if you look at it, because on all those Wings records, I mean, if you want to look at it separately from McCartney, you would be able to induct Linda and Denny Lane at least.
Yeah.
And then maybe Henry McCullough.
Is Denny Lane in this? Oh, the Moody Blues aren't in, are they?
No. So he's not in at all. He could technically get in twice. If they open Wings, McCartney would be in 3 times. Like Clapton.
Yeah. I have no problem with it. I love the Wings period.
I don't understand it. Like why it's not.
Yeah. I love all those albums. So
yeah.
I guess he's got the Beatles just cast such a big friggin' shadow.
Right.
I don't know if I'm in on board with the Hall of Fame thing anymore. I'm kind of losing interest, you know.
Oh, I'm not
they're like,
yeah,
they're letting everybody in, and it's not what it. You know, they have a country music Hall of Fame. Put Dolly over there. Why is she in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
yeah.
I didn't understand that.
Because it's really a pop music Hall of Fame. It's not a rock and roll Hall of Fame.
That's what it.
They need to
right,
change the
exactly.
name. What they need to do.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
So what is it you're doing tonight?
Speaking of the Grammys, did anybody spend any time watching the Grammys the other night?
No.
I suffered through it because my wife was watching it and I was in the same room.
Oh.
And listen, it started out, I was encouraged. It started out not bad. Brandy Carlisle was
fantastic.
She put on one hell of a rock performance, and I was
awesome. Loved it.
I was just watching the Stevie Wonder clips; they were good.
Stevie Wonder blew
I was just going to
away.
say the Stevie Wonder thing, which came, it was either before or after that, was phenomenal, and I'm like, maybe there's hope, and then it just went all downhill.
I suffered for 2 hours through it until I turned
it's
it
such
on.
a
I
fucking
can't take
shit
another
show.
second.
Pardon my French, but it's all about. I just kept saying to my wife, if the music was good, you wouldn't need all the bullshit. Like those two freaks in those stupid red outfits and whatever the fuck they were doing.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
And I'm telling you, that Beyonce is so full of herself.
Who gives a shit about her?
Her music is insipid garbage. And they treat her like she's the queen of the world.
The queen,
she's so important she couldn't even make it on time. They said she was in a traffic jam, so she was late. Like, you know what? If you're that big a star, show up on time. Have some respect.
Yeah.
And her
listen to that last album of hers.
Never walked that easy.
I guess,
God.
Probably the saddest news of the night was, I mean, it was the inevitable about what Mick Fleetwood talked about essentially the Fleetwood Mac is they can't even think about moving forward without Christine.
Yeah. It was the tribute to the people that had passed away was okay. Some of it was good.
That's usually the okay parts.
Yeah, Bonnie Raitt and Sheryl Crow sang Songbird.
Yeah.
With Mick on like a bongo thing. Yeah.
I hope he changes his mind, though. You know, Fleetwood Mac has toured without Christine before, so it's a music collective, right? There's been so many lineups; they could make a go of it.
I agree.
I guess his thing is more like he said, like everybody's doing their own thing right now. Like Stevie's going on tour, Lindsay's got his solo. You know, I don't know what John does, but I can understand being in your late 70s, something like that. Like, I mean, obviously they've toured without her, but they know that she's not there, like on Earth, like, you know, she's gone. And I mean, when they toured as the foursome without her, you know, they knew she was still there and they were still in contact. But now that's got to be hard, especially like I said, once you get, you know, to that senior status, it's like, what? My heart's just not in it. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, it might be after they get a chance to grieve. I think she passed pretty quickly, and I think it was probably unexpected. And
it's only been a couple months, right?
Yeah, so I imagine they're all pretty broken up. So time heals.
I would even like to see, like, even if they did like a Fleetwood Mac, I don't know, like a tribute show, and you could have John and Mick play, and like everybody like runs through. You know, they're the hosts, like a special concert or something. Yeah. And obviously you would get like Mike Campbell. He would do a few songs. Neil Finn, Stevie. So there's possibilities, but it's hard to say. So,
well, John, are you prepared to work with us on our list tonight?
Well, I saw your video today, and I kept trying to get to it, so I don't even know what you guys are doing. It's
top 10 guitarists in the rock genre. So, I mean, that expands to heavy metal, blues, rock, prog, but I stayed away from like bluegrass guitarists and stuff like that. Like just...
my original list, like 3 weeks ago when we talked about this, like I had Tony Rice, I had Doc Watson.
Yeah, those would be on mine too, for sure.
Yeah. Marty Stewart was on my list.
Yeah.
So are we sticking within certain genre? Or we can do anything.
Just anything in the rock pop.
Yeah,
rock pop.
Which is pretty well, open.
Okay.
Yeah, not Django Reinhardt or Willie Nelson.
Yeah. You're not going to pick like like Grant Green.
Willie would make my list though.
Yeah.
If it was overall.
We're talking lead guitar players, like lead
just guitar players.
If you think Keith Richards is one of your favorite guitar players, and he's playing rhythm or whatever.
You could pick Sam St. John if you want.
Yeah.
He's got this new single out called Ghost.
Yeah, new single out.
Yeah, I got to watch that too. I know I had a busy day. I couldn't watch all these things.
Sam,
making so many videos.
Sam and I were just on a thing with Rich doing our Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing, and I didn't know that you'd made that video with the song you wrote last night, and I watched it right after. Man, it was so good.
I appreciate it.
Just beautiful, well written, man.
Thanks.
Well performed. It was really, really good.
That means a lot. I appreciate it.
Wow, I just was blown away how you did a great job.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, you guys, if no one's watching, hasn't seen it, go to Sam's channel and watch him. He performs a self-penned song called Ghost. It's beautiful.
And I'll say, before we get into things here, I do have a thread that I've just started today. If anybody wants to do it, we're talking about the Grammys. I did a video where it's the Grammys according to me. And essentially, you take your favorites, you make your own Grammy Awards, how you wish the Grammys would have gone. And you can pick any of the categories. I mean, there's hundreds of them. I just pick some, fit into like a less than 10-minute video. But, pick your favorites from 2022, late 2021, and do your video.
Wow.
Just for fun. I love Kenny Vaughn.
He's Marty Stewart's sideman with the Superlatives. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's killer. Yeah, when I saw them with with Hillman and McGuinn, during the Sweetheart of the Rodeo section, Kenny moved to the bass so that Chris Hillman could play guitar. So he's all around a great musician.
Wow. He's part of Marty Stewart's band?
Yeah, he wears sunglasses and kind of has like long black hair. Yeah.
Doesn't Marty Stewart have a new album coming out or something?
A big announcement tonight. And if you look at the pictures, there's a picture that they took. It looks exactly like the Fifth Dimension album cover by the Byrds.
Oh, really?
Like on the magic carpet, and Marty's the only one standing up, and the other guys are sitting around him, like on the magic carpet. And they're pushing it as like cosmic country. So that's right up my alley. Something like the Byrds or Graham Parsons or Mike Nesmith.
The Fabulous Superlatives, yeah, great band. Sam's turned me into a Marty Stewart fan.
That's awesome.
Pilgrim too is a great album. That one too, I love.
I need to get. I kept almost buying that one. Now it's out of print.
Oh, really? I picked it up used somewhere. It's awesome. So
just had its 20th a year or so ago.
Oh man, he's a talented guy.
Yeah, Grateful Dead won a box, but again, like the Grammys that were that they showed that they don't show on TV. Willie Nelson won one as well. Brandy Carlisle won one early.
Yeah. And my favorite guitarist of all time, who didn't make my list because I don't consider him a rock guitarist, but Ry Cooder and Taj Mahal won.
For Americana.
Yeah.
And Molly Tuttle for Bluegrass, she won. But that's the Grammys I would want to watch. Not
Yeah, the ones that they should have another Grammy show for the alternative stuff that is up for awards.
Yeah.
You should have a second special.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's great. Well, it's a great box set.
Yeah, for packaging and everything.
Yeah.
So.
Wow, very cool.
This is hard. This is a hard list. This is difficult.
It was hard. I moved mine around a few times and left some people out. I think we need some honorable mention time too.
You got blues guys.
On that
too,
note, should we start running through our list?
Sure.
Who wants to go first?
I'll start.
I'll go last.
Okay. John can go last so he can catch up.
So we're doing 10 favorite guitarists from essentially the rock vein.
Yeah.
So
and we should remind everyone we're doing StumpUs as well, and I see Steve's got one there, so we'll get to it after Sam's.
Steve's getting ahead.
Yep.
So
let's not forget StumpUs.
This was like Glenn's. I think everybody's changed up their list several times because we've had this topic for a couple of weeks and scheduling things have gotten in the way for this topic. Well, last week we bumped the topic up. So this guy wouldn't have made my list until probably this morning. And I was like, he really needs to make my list. And no, it's not Elvis. It's Scotty Moore.
Of course.
Wow.
Makes my list at number 10. Of course, Scotty was part of that early sound of Elvis. That whole, That's All Right Mama with the bum, 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 dun, 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 dun. That's pure rockabilly, pure Sun Studios. Scotty, I think he passed away in 2016. So he lived a good life, played with a ton of different people. Again, you hear a song also like Jailhouse Rock, that bow now, pop, pop, that's Scotty Moore. Blue Moon of Kentucky, that fast-paced, remake of the bluegrass Bill Monroe song, that's Scotty Moore. Elvis would get other guys too. James Burton almost made my list. He was all over those late 60s, 70s Elvis records. But Scotty Moore was part of that early sound, part of that early trio sound that was so synonymous with Sun Studios. And I had to have Scotty on there. He's one of the architects of rock and roll guitar. So,
wow, that's an interesting pick. I never saw that coming.
Good choice, Sam. Good choice.
Me.
Good choice.
Who's going next?
Why don't you go next?
Okay, I'm going with a guy who has, over the last couple of years, become one of my favorite guitar players. You asked me 3 years ago, he wouldn't have been on my radar. Steve Hackett from Genesis. Not because of his work when the Genesis albums were coming out, but the work he does now, where he goes and does all these live shows, playing all the Genesis stuff. He is an amazing freaking guitar player. And I keep buying up these sets because just from his playing, he's phenomenal. So Steve Hackett's my number 10.
Wow,
great. That's a good one.
I know you've always said that you love him more than Genesis proper.
Oh yeah, no, I can't do Genesis.
And Glenn just made a great video talking about his favorite all-time album, The Lamb Lies Down on
Lamb
Broadway.
Lies Down on Broadway, yeah.
So check that out. All right, who's up?
Rob, I think.
All right. So I didn't go purposely obscure on this, but I can't not mention this guy when I talk about favorite guitarists. Chances are Americans won't have heard of him. Mazzy talks about him quite a bit, but there's a band out of Toronto called the Sadies. Their lead guitar player, Travis Good, which is this guy right here. He's about 9.5 feet tall. He looks like a freaking giant. He's scary as shit. But when you meet him, he's the gentlest, nicest man in the world. The Sadies are, we call them sort of like cosmic cowboys. Like they're rock and sort of psychedelic country.
Yeah, my favorite.
All kinds of, they're just amazing. And they've done blues. They've done all kinds of stuff with a bunch of other people. They played with Nico Case. Amazing stuff. So now they're a 3-piece because a few months ago, Dallas, his brother, died unexpectedly of a heart condition they didn't know about. So now they're going on as a 3-piece. And Travis was the lead guitar player and not the singer, but now he's taken on his brother's role and has done an absolutely fantastic job. One of the best guitar players I've ever seen live. He can play anything. It's phenomenal.
Wow, that's a great pick.
Travis Good.
Very cool.
Okay.
Now John's up.
Wow.
I'm working.
Whack-a-mole. You just popped up.
All right. Well,
Okay.
maybe do you want me to do a StumpUs while John's waiting, or is John ready?
I can do it. It's up
All right.
to you.
Go ahead.
I have my number 10. So this is really quick. So off the top of my head. So I had to go with Billy Gibbons.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm just getting more into the bluesier stuff. I grew up with the 80s ZZ Top with all that stuff. But
Eliminator and stuff. Yeah.
but reaching back and getting to the earlier stuff and really realizing what a great blues rock guitarist he is. So that's my number 10.
The Reverend Billy Gibbons.
There you go.
All right. We got our first StumpUs. I hope you guys are ready for this.
This.
Look at this. Do you like that?
I love it.
You want to see it again?
Yeah.
People in the
Taking it up a
headphones are
level.
like, oh.
That's freaking perfect. Good job, buddy.
All right. So
Oh, man. I knew the answer to this question.
Steve's question is: you hear a dog barking during Pink Floyd. I got to put this up here. Pink Floyd's. Who's the owner of the dog?
Oh, the owner? I can give you the dog's name.
Yeah, Seamus. It's on metal, right?
Actually, it's, you know what? I used to say Seamus. It's actually Seamus.
Seamus.
Yeah.
From what? Yeah, it looks like Seamus. Who owned the damn
That's an
dog?
Irish name, I think.
It's not.
Yeah.
I don't think it's one of the
Scottish.
Was it? It wasn't Roy Harper's, was it?
It's a good bet.
Yep.
Was Seamus? Was that metal? Was that from metal?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to think of like that era who was hanging around.
Oh man, I'm just gonna go with one of the Floyd guys, like Gilmore's. I'm going with Dave Gilmore. I know it's not
I don't
right.
think it was one of the band members. Yeah,
No,
it wasn't one of the band guys.
either.
It's like a sound engineer or something.
As soon as I hear it, I'm gonna go, oh damn.
Yeah.
Was that recorded at Abbey Road? Was it one of the Abbey
No,
Road?
I'm not sure if Metal was recorded at Abbey Road.
It was during. It's in the Live from Pompeii. They're hanging out, and that's when they recorded that, as far as I know. Because they're sitting there and playing the blues and put the mic up to the dog.
Steve's gonna beat us on our first StumpUs of the night. Rob, you got any idea?
I have no idea. I have some Floyd and I like some Floyd, but I'm not nearly a big enough Floyd fan to even hazard a guess.
And as soon as he says the answer, I'm gonna go, damn it.
It wasn't somebody like Glenn Johns or something like that, was it?
You never
I
know.
don't think so.
We
give up, Steve. Give us your answer. You stumped us right off the hop.
Stump us. You win tickets to next week's show, Steve.
There you go.
The thing is, we won't be here, so.
Yeah. Steve Marriott.
I would not have known that.
Man, I wouldn't have got
that's a good
that
one.
either. I would
All
have
right, well,
thought.
that's the end of our game, folks.
Yeah.
That's it. We're
Good
all
one,
done.
Steve.
Yep.
Like I said, you won tickets for you and a friend, you and a guest to join next week's show.
There you go. I'll get caught up on a few comments here.
Hey,
Jason Skills is joining us. Hey, Jason. And he asks, what's he ask us here? That was my favorite Grammys in a while of the hip hop tribute. It was like a Gen X dream, all those appearances. Yeah.
Yeah, wrong. I'm the wrong age for that.
Yeah, me too. And then he asks, who won the metal hard rock Grammy, by the way? Why do they never show it on air instead of loads
Ozzy
of
won.
Who did?
Ozzy Osbourne won. Didn't he, for his newest album?
They're just being nice.
Well, no, that album got some really high reviews, but I know he's quit touring because of his Parkinson's.
Yeah, he just made that big announcement.
It was funny. He announced his retirement the same day as Tom Brady and Dr. Phil. The big three, as we call them here in America. Even though Ozzy's not from,
Yeah, Brady gave us a Super Bowl, but it's time. It's time.
Yeah.
You're right with Hackett. At least half a dozen of those albums. Yeah, those live albums are fantastic. Really good. Highly recommend. We just did Spectral Mornings today. I forgot what a good album it is. Yeah, that's a great studio album of his.
There you go. There's your Tom Brady.
Yep, my God.
Wow.
I took the sound effect out for our next StumpUs, so I won't blow anyone's ears out.
I like that. Good thing my speakers are low. Oh, because of StumpUs.
Right. I mean, I can keep the sound effect in. It's up to you guys. I got them both loaded, with and without. So
I think it's
Jason Stilts down the road says that Ted Nugent won an award. I thought he'd shot himself with a bow and arrow by now. That's too bad he's still breathing.
I hope you're joking.
Who?
Jason.
Ted Nugent. Yeah, me too.
I don't know. I don't even know if Ozzy was there.
I don't think Ozzy.
Probably not. He's so frail now.
Yeah. I think you should let the stumper pick the topic for next week. Yeah. Well, what if we don't like the topic though?
What if we're stumped more than once?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to happen. But
Yeah,
Steve, you're more than anybody is more than welcome to suggest a topic for us. If we like it, we'll do it.
Yeah, just put it in the comments because we're
we're always looking for good topics. If you guys got something that you like to hear us talk about and we can do it, it's done.
Yep. So,
All right, Sam, what's your number 9 favorite guitarist?
Number 9, it's the only album. I mean, it's the only artist that I don't have anything individually by him on any kind of physical format. But I had to put him on there, and I didn't mean for my first 2 to be rockabilly, but that's the way it's going to be. And my number 9 is Mr. Carl Perkins.
I knew he was going to be on your list somewhere.
Yeah. And it's funny. While I was at work today, I was listening in my headphones to some of that, like that, I guess that 35th anniversary concert that he did in the late 80s, where it's
Is
him.
that the one that Ringo was on and Clapton and
George Harrison and
it's out on vinyl. It's called Blue Suede Shoes, a rockabilly session or something like that.
But they do that medley of songs. Oh my, it's so good. And George hits the "That's All Right, Mama" because they just do a bunch of Sun Studio songs, and George just plays it perfect. And he's just the happiest I've ever seen George, even more so than when he was with the Beatles.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Carl
I've seen
Perkins
that probably a dozen times when I was a kid, and I'm desperately looking for it on vinyl. It's around. It just got released a couple years ago.
I mean, just to name a few, I mean, Carl Perkins obviously had his own hits, with Blue Suede Shoes and Matchbox. And the Beatles covered those. I mean, they covered Matchbox, Everybody's Trying to Be My Baby, Honey Don't.
Yeah.
But then he also played, with Johnny Cash for years. He was on the Johnny Cash show when they were filming that at the Ryman. He wrote the song "Daddy Sang Bass," which is one of the biggest Johnny Cash songs ever. One of those, the gospel song. And if you listen to him playing, "Boy Named Sue" at San Quentin, because that single was from the San Quentin show. I mean, he just kills it. I mean, he is the epitome of the '50s rock and roll rock star, with or without his wig too. I'll throw that. True. But he's just got that he's got that great Southern drawl to his singing. I mean, the South was so, that was such a driving force in early rock and roll. I mean, Elvis, Sam Phillips, everybody in Memphis, Johnny Cash, they're all from the South, and so I'm proud to be, part of that that grouping of people down here. So I had to put Carl Perkins on there. I couldn't leave him off.
Good pick.
That is a good pick. Okay, my number 9. I'll tell you the one thing that impresses me by guitarists more than anything else is how identifiable they are from the first note they play. There's very few. There are some, but there's like a handful of them. B.B. King is one, but this guy's another one. Mark Knopfler.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
That guy has a style all of his own, and as soon as you hear it, like the tone, his style, everything about it, the way he strikes the strings, whatever it is, you just know it's Mark Knopfler, no matter if he's playing on a Dylan album or playing on Dire Straits or his own solo stuff. And so he's my number 9. I think he's this fabulous guitar player.
Yeah, I didn't know he was on I&I, the one that got me in trouble with YouTube. But while I'm listening to it, I'm like, that's freaking Knopfler, and I've never even noticed that before.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He's all over that
great
album.
guitarist.
The Infidels
Yeah.
album.
Yeah,
I want to take a closer look.
I think he was the one who turned you in, John.
He probably was. Yeah, I think so.
You can't trust him. I've heard that. He's a great guitar player, but you can't trust him.
He can be a wanker.
That's him. That Dylan guy. Yeah, Dylan. Can't trust him.
All right, my number 9 is one of those, like Glenn said, people that you know who it is from the first note because they have their own tone. Mr. Brian May from Queen.
Yeah, good choice.
Yep.
One of my favorite guitarists, and I just, as a guy that not only plays guitar, I'm a shitty guitar player, but I play guitar, and I have many, and I've built some of my own. His famous guitar, he built. He built it out of parts when he was a kid or whatever, and just that he went on to be such a giant among guitar players. And I love his sound, and I love the fact that he's still out there. And whether you like Adam Lambert or not, they do a pretty damn good job of keeping Queen's music alive. So Brian May for me, number 9.
And he's an astrophysicist on top of it.
I mean, he's an astrophysicist. That's right. He has a PhD.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he plays guitar with what does he use? A nickel or a pick?
Yeah.
He uses some kind of
he uses
coin.
a penny, doesn't he?
Penny? Yeah.
Oh, really?
Some kind
I
of
didn't
coin.
know that.
Yeah, to get that sound or whatever, that clunky thing.
Yeah, I made a guitar pick out of a penny for that same reason, to try and get a similar tone.
Wow.
And although that is a federal offense, defacing a penny, to use it that way.
Yep.
Just wrap it in plastic before you do it. That's all.
Yeah.
Keep it
I
safe.
should have used an American penny because, it's not illegal if you're up here.
Which is a federal offense
There
here.
you go. Right. Come across the border and get me.
That's right.
So,
You got
my
Chinese
number.
balloons to worry about.
Yeah. Hey, we shot it down for you. I think if
That's
somebody out here in Florida on the East Coast is shooting at the damn thing, and it's so Florida. It's so Florida. Oh my God.
You know that balloon?
That's
That balloon was
crazy.
200 feet high.
Yeah.
We're not talking about a balloon. This thing was
Right.
200 feet high.
Yeah.
That's
Insane.
What is going on over there? Oh, yeah. Okay, so our number 9. Okay, so I had to put him on a list somewhere. I don't know if this is. I keep looking at my list, but anyway, Neil Young. I had to put him on there because he can rock out. This is a live album, but the one I really like was Freedom. That album with Rockin' in the Free World and all that stuff on there. So as far as a guitarist, he's shown what he can play acoustic just by himself, entertaining an audience. And, if he wants to crank out a solo, he can. So the guy's just like all over the place. So you guys know this guy. So not much to say, but there it is. Yeah. And this is a decent little album. He's got a trippy story about Judy Garland on there. That's Judy Garland, right? Yeah. Where he's talking to the audience and he's like, "Oh, I see Judy Garland down there and she's wearing a red dress," and he's tripping out. It's pretty cool. So, very first thing in there he starts talking about. But hey, you could find it in one of my shorts, Glenn, because I actually do it in my
Did
shorts.
you? Okay, I'll watch for that.
It's all
It'll only
dialogue.
take you 30
right?
seconds, Glenn. So
It won't take you long.
time.
Yeah, there you go. So that's what I got.
All right, let's get caught up on some comments here.
That's
Curtis
not
has got
an
an
idea for topic.
Curtis says
that would work cool if it was the viewers who gave us the song and then we discussed whether the.
I did a video about this a long time ago where I went through my collection and picked some originals and covers and gave my 2 cents for what it's worth about what I thought was better. I like that topic. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I wrote it down.
That could be. I like your idea. Have the viewers, and then we give our opinions. Not that we're experts, but we're up here. So, Jason says, "Topic: favorite Bowie album and why." That'd be a crappy topic because I'm not a Bowie fan.
Yeah,
so.
that'd be a Glenn show.
Yeah, that'd be a Glenn Calloway show.
If you ever want some great solo.
So my favorite, anyway, Jason, my favorite Bowie album is Low. And I like the instrumentals on it. That's why I like it.
That's one of his albums I need to check out. Actually, I haven't given that one any time.
Martin says Carl Perkins is great. Yeah.
Brian May.
There we go.
Art's here.
They are.
So Art put up a video on Sunday night, I guess. I watched it last night. I think it went up Sunday night. He does his videos where he picked his top 10 guitarists. Now, Art didn't stay focused on the rock genre. He had jazz guys and everything in there, but it was a great video. So go to North Carolina Vinyl Picker and watch Art's video. He had some great players on there.
Yeah, and he got some new lighting or a new camera too, because I remember watching his videos in the beginning and I couldn't see where he was, but he's improved his look and his videos.
Yeah, Art's got a great channel.
I wish we had some more StumpUs because I want to use my graphic again. Come on, folks.
Yeah, no, some StumpUs.
I'll throw one up there.
All right, Sam.
All right, well, I'm going to kind of go along the lines of what John just did. I'm going to go with a guitarist who's maybe not first thought of as a guitarist. I mean, Neil Young is obviously, he's a great lead guitarist. He played lead guitar in Buffalo Springfield, and obviously in all the solo stuff. But I didn't even think about this person until, again, this afternoon. I was like, he's a really good guitarist, and he's inspired me in a lot of how I play. And that person is
Paul McCartney.
Shocking.
Paul McCartney. Yeah. I mean, especially after he went to India, I mean, you listen to a song like Blackbird. That's like one of those first songs that if anybody's ever trying to finger pick, tries to learn. That's like the Stairway to Heaven for finger picking, other than Stairway to Heaven. And Paul McCartney always tells the joke live, if anybody that learned to play this as a kid, you probably learned it wrong, because it's just this crazy type of picking, and that's right up my alley. Is finger picking and that sort of thing. But then you listen to a song like, Let Me Roll It. I mean, he could play it really heavy. He could play Helter Skelter. Even like, Taxman, even though it's a George Harrison song, he's playing that really gritty, garagey lead guitar. And then you get a taste of all three of the guys during The End on Abbey Road.
Yeah.
Where McCartney starts the little, cycle going, and then you have George and then John. It goes and goes and goes. What was another one that I wrote? Obviously, like Maybe I'm Amazed. That really smooth, and that's why I picked this album.
Yeah, great lead in that.
There's a great lead on there. Obviously, McCartney is essentially the only one on this album, and that's just a smooth lick that he plays on Maybe I'm Amazed. That it's so good. Another Girl, the country song, he plays lead on that. Back in the USSR, I mean, once the late '60s came around, he was really playing some heavy stuff.
Yeah.
And even if you see him live now, I mean, he always does Let Me Roll It, and then he plays that riff of Foxy Lady, and he can play it. He's got that grit to him, and I think it's really cool. And no, he's not a guitarist per se, but again, for Blackbird alone and how that inspired me, into picking up acoustic guitar, I've got to pick McCartney.
I think that's a great pick. He's just a great musician. So
yeah. So
absolutely. My number 8 is one of the 2 guys that are going to show up on my list from one band, Dickie Betts.
Oh,
the Allman Brothers.
Very cool.
I just love this guy's fluid style. I mean, he just sounds so beautiful when he plays the guitar. I mean, just listen to the lead in Blue Sky or even Ramblin' Man or any of those songs that he penned are just fantastic. And then when Dwayne died, I mean, if it wasn't for Dickie kind of picking the band up by its boot heel straps and freaking learning all to play Dwayne's parts, his own parts, and keep that rocking, I mean, there might not have been an Allman Brothers continuum. Yeah. So he's just a phenomenal guitar player.
Yeah. And one of the last guys still kicking from the band.
Yeah. And a Florida guy.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. What are we on here? Number 8?
Number 8.
Yeah. Number 8. So my number 8 is a guy that I've seen live a couple times. He's made it huge with 2 different bands. A fantastic guitar player, Randy Bachman, from the Guess Who and from Bachman Turner Overdrive. Again, for me, he's got that distinctive sound. When I hear it, I know it's him. Love him. I've seen him with the Guess Who, and I've seen him guest with Bryan Adams, of all people.
Yep.
Phenomenal. Randy Bachman. And Randy's a guy who can play anything. I mean, he studied under Lenny Breau, the great jazz guitarist, and he can play jazz. He can play, like, he's a really versatile guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So 8, 10, 9, 8. Okay. This guy had to go somewhere on there. You can't,
Who's Sammy Hagar?
I've never heard of that guy.
I didn't know Sammy Hagar was one of your favorite guitar players.
Yeah, I think David Lee Roth was a guitar player, right?
Yeah.
I think he could do the back bend, so you always have that for you. If you can't play guitar, this is what you have to do. You got to entertain that audience. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Eddie Van Halen is, no matter what you think of him, maybe too technical for some people, but I always like what he did. Some of the sounds that he got, especially like in, what is that? I can't think of that song.
Eruption?
Well, that one, yeah, that's him showing off his guitar skills, I think.
Hot for Teacher, the beginning part of that. Down, 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 down,
down. Yeah, that one, and there's Finish What You Started. I always like that picking and Finish What You Started. It was him being more of just a good player, like more bluesy kind of. I think that would fall in blues.
Even like Ice Cream Man, kind of the same thing.
Yeah. So he could kind of go into different areas. So he's definitely has some leads and stuff, especially like Right Now. I always liked what he did in that and the lead part in that. So yeah, he's just, felt like I had to put him on a list. I'm getting more into the earlier Van Halen lately, so he's kind of been on my mind a little bit. So yeah, that's why I kind of put him high on the list though. So Eddie Van Halen.
Good one. Well, we got to stump us here.
Oh boy.
I'm not gonna play without the sound this time.
I like the sound.
It's not the same effect. Yeah.
All
We'll
right,
just
well,
do
here comes the
next
sound.
time.
So for people that have earbuds in or something, get ready because here we go.
StumpUs. I love that.
That's better.
I only see it. I don't hear it.
All right.
You
So
not hear that?
what was Steve's question here? He didn't
Nothing
say,
yet. No,
Oh yes, he's
balking
Busy
from the
trying to
mouse.
find
reserving a StumpUs.
Oh, there he goes.
There it is.
Good night.
It's like a book here.
He is asking some deep questions here.
Well,
Bus is stopping and someone has to get off. Who did he say that to? Richie Fame?
Georgie Fame?
It's on tour. While on the bus, he looked back at a band member. So it's got to be a well-known band member.
This is
It can't just be
obscure
like
shit,
some guy named
Steve.
Bill
Good
Johnson
Lord.
who played the sax or something. I mean, it's got to be somebody that we would know.
Yeah, it's either Georgie Fame or who was that long-haired guy with like the high tenor voice who sang with him? He sang like "Whenever God Shines His Light," like he duetted with him on that.
Oh, Cliff Richards or something? Or
Cliff Richards was on that. No, it was somebody else. You're right about that.
maybe it was Janet Planet. Maybe he got sick of her.
Let's. The bus is stopping, and someone has to get. If it's like just a random Van Morrison band member,
we're not going to get it. So it's got to be Georgie Fame. I
Fame.
can't think of another famous guy who was on tour with him.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'm going Georgie Fame.
yeah.
Steve, you might have a skit.
knowledge.
You have to tell us, Steve.
Let's see.
Steve's not going to be allowed to play StumpUs anymore.
I'm getting some Ronnie
Ronnie
Montrose.
Montrose. I didn't know Ronnie Montrose played in Van Morrison's band.
Shoot.
Oh, I guess he played. I think he played on the Tipple Honey stuff, maybe.
Oh, so he was early then.
Yeah.
I appreciate somebody agrees with me on McCartney. Jason and Young LP lovers.
Hey, Jeff. Evening, fellas.
Hey, Jeff. Yeah, that's a question there.
That was the book.
Yeah, he played on Tupelo. I had that part right. Now, if you would have asked me what album Ronnie Montrose played on, I would have got that.
Or if he even would have asked what album did Van Morrison play on.
Yeah.
See, my Big Lebowski question is looking better now. See,
Yeah, no kidding.
it was one sentence.
The next question Steve's going to ask us is, what did Elvis eat for lunch in January the 3rd, 1980 or 1972? Like,
I know the answer. Peanut butter and banana sandwich. That's all he ever ate.
Fried.
Okay, fair
Fried
enough.
peanut butter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the side of pills. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
And a big piece of pie.
So does that put us at number 7 then? To wrap it around?
Number 7.
All right. I'm going to go with a guy, a big reason being the band that he's known for, but also for his session work. And some people might have him higher. But again, you got to think about my taste, what I like. Jimmy Page. What can you say? You can name off any of the Led Zeppelin songs that weren't on Presence. And they would fit into some of the greatest guitar licks. I mean, obviously Stairway and, a song like Rock and Roll, how that starts, just that dun 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 dun, like how he just goes into it. But for me, big parts of it are, you listen to a song like Tobacco Road by the Nashville Teens. He's playing that bom, 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 bom at the beginning as a session guy, at 19, 20 years old. He's playing that killer, psychedelic guitar on With a Little Help from My Friends by Joe Cocker. That opening, bow, bow. It's just, that's a precursor to like Dazed and Confused.
Yeah.
That tone. Again, some of my favorites, obviously Dazed and Confused is one. Communication Breakdown is another huge one. Ramble On.
Yeah.
And then, again, he can play some killer. He played some mandolin too, like on Battle of Evermore. So he's just an all around great musician. I think he's even played bass on a few sessions. Just one of the heaviest, greatest.
Oh yeah,
guitar. He's a guitar god, and there's only about I probably only count about 5 or 6 guitar gods. Jimmy Page is one of them, if not the top for me.
That cannot be argued.
Well, don't argue.
My number 7 is he should really be higher on my list. Johnny Winter.
Yeah. Oh, and that's an
Good choice.
excellent album. Yeah.
I love Johnny Winter's playing. His blues stuff is just incredible. And I would say he was just an amazing guitar player. I got a chance to see him live probably 3 or 4 times and blew me away every time. Phenomenal guitarist.
Yeah, just did a walk and talk to one of the songs. Yeah, what song did I
You
just
did a
do
walk
off of
and
that?
talk with It's My Own Fault.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Off
so good.
of Johnny Winter and. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Very
Johnny's
cool.
my number 7.
It's right up your alley.
Okay, so my number 7, and this is the only other obscure one I've got on here. Again, I'm not trying to be obscure, but I cannot have a list of guitar players without this guy. Glenn knows this guy. This is a guitar player from Toronto named Luc Doucette. He's had a very, very long career. He has always been and is still Sarah McLachlan's guitar player. And then he started a successful solo career in the late 90s. This is his album from 2008 called Blood's Too Rich, which is a fantastic rock album. And then he and his wife started a band called Whitehorse, which I turned Glenn on to. He has an absolutely unmistakable tone. He plays a Gretsch White Falcon. That is his signature instrument. And he plays unlike anyone I've ever heard. And I know it's him from the first note. And I have said many times, and I firmly believe it, I think he is the greatest guitar player in Canada, hands down.
Wow.
Luc Doucette.
Take that, Neil Young.
Promise I won't have any more obscure ones after that.
Hey, the obscure ones are the best ones because then we all get to go and look and check them out.
Yeah.
If you're gonna look up Luc Doucette, look up this record here, Blood's Too Rich. Phenomenal.
Yeah, my obscure ones are they're gone too, so mine are all heavy hitters from here on out.
All right, for mine, what are we on? Okay. So I had to bring in some blues. You can't do it without BB King. You know, I saw him live at one point. Yeah, he did a concert. Yeah, in St. Pete, he did like one of the festivals out there, and he was like off my radar. But my friend's like, "You got to go see BB King," and this is maybe 90, somewhere around there, 89, 90. Playing live. Remember, he had there was a guy on stage. He had a big jerry curl going, and he was like, all I remember is his hair going all around and getting into it. I don't know if he played an instrument. He was like just getting everybody into the whole thing. But I just remember BB sitting there and realizing he didn't play chords. He did all riffs.
No, he never played a chord.
Yeah, and he was, it was cool because the whole band carried the whole thing, the whole back rhythm of it. And then BB just comes in with these little licks and kicks, and he just felt it. You felt it, him playing it. So that was like my real first experience with like live blues music.
Wow.
So, and this is a great album here too.
Never got to see him. That's one of my disappointing things. I never saw BB King play live.
No.
Yeah, and he was still had it at that point too. Yeah. He was probably 50s or 60s at that point, but he was killing it.
Late 60s.
So. Yeah. So, yep, BB King.
I had the chance to see him at Royal Albert Hall in London, and Lynn and I were sitting in our hotel room at that night, and we just had such a busy day and everything. We're going, oh man, just too tired. But now I regret it so much.
Yeah. Especially at the Royal Albert Hall, man.
I know.
Doesn't get better than that.
What do you think of the Coverdale Page album?
I've never listened to it.
I think I had it at one time, and it was nothing that stood out to me like it.
But your expectations are probably so high that Jimmy Page recording again.
Yeah,
you wanted it to do something for you, but it didn't.
Yeah,
it probably needs a second listen at this point, but yeah.
Please check your Wi-Fi network.
Shut up.
One of the few players who couldn't sing and play at the same time. Sing then play.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, we talked the other week about Rattle and Hum. With you see him play. He's talking to the boys in YouTube about that. I don't do chords. And then they rip into Love Comes to Town. And he's playing those like you were saying, John, where he's just feeling it on Lucille. It's just
so
good.
Oh yeah. I think he was the one that told, was it Billy Gibbons? I don't know if I said this before, but he told, Billy Gibbons always played with heavy strings for the blues, and BB's like, no, man, you got to play those light strings. You can bend them,
Yeah, take him
and
up
ever
the neck.
since he did that, yeah, so that's a cool story.
Yeah, I only ever play with lights on my acoustic. I did mediums for so long, and then I found lights. And I was like, that's got more of the jangle that I want on my guitar. So
Yeah, look at Concert Buddy's thinking of Glenn. Look at that.
Yeah, he's doing it shorts. Good. Yeah, knock yourself out.
just
Make,
don't-
I think
make
you should,
10 of them at once, so it only takes me like 15 seconds to watch them.
I'm gonna
Chance
do a
is
week
gonna
of shorts.
Chance is gonna do a short about a bacon wrapped turd.
Yeah,
Wow.
in a
John knows what that
bacon
means.
wrap. Yep. But I'm gonna do a whole week of shorts just with Glenn ranting in between music, and that's gonna be my shorts for the whole week.
That's funny.
Just to promote shorts.
Steve says, "Hey Glenn, run the KWS question. Kenny Wayne. Oh yeah, are you guys know Kenny Wayne Shepherd? The
I know of him.
heavy
I know
blues
of
rock
him.
guitar player. Do you know who
Yeah.
was?
Yeah.
Steve sent me this on an email. I think. Do you know who his father-in-law is?
I've read this before, but I don't know offhand.
Not a
Dave
nice
Grohl.
guy. He's an actor.
Not a nice guy. Is he
it
still
the same
living?
last
Bit of
name?
a racist.
Is
Allegedly.
it the same last name? Like Sam?
No.
What was his name?
No, his father-in-law.
Mel Gibson.
Oh, father-in-law. Right.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Oh, well, isn't Kenny Wayne Shepherd about the same age? Bill Gibson?
No, Kenny Wayne Shepherd, I don't think it's that old. It came up
He was
because I
pretty
bought a
young when he
Kenny
came
Wayne
out.
Shepherd CD at the thrift store for $1.99 the other day.
Mm.
Bob F. knew Mel Gibson.
Oh, yeah, he's young. He's younger. Yeah.
That was a
Well, there's going to
StumpUs
be a
for
Lethal
Bob F.
Weapon 5. Yeah, Lethal
45
Weapon 5
years
will be out.
No more shorts at custom. Who's up?
That'll
Sam.
be me.
Sam's up.
For number 6 this round. Taking it back to the early days again, but again, even Chuck Berry and Scotty Moore are not, they don't hold a candle to this guy. Chuck Berry.
Yeah, there's a good one.
Wow.
Yeah.
But he inspired, the boys in AC/DC to do what they did. He inspired Keith Richards, even though Keith Richards got a sock in the jaw from him. There's great videos of Chuck Berry and Keith Richards arguing. They speak volumes. I mean, Chuck Berry, he was not a nice person either, but I mean, Maybelline, You Can't Catch Me, Roll Over Beethoven, School Days, Rock and Roll Music, Johnny Be Good. I mean, Sweet Little 16. There's just that lick. I mean, that Chuck Berry sound, where would rock and roll be without it? It would be completely different.
He didn't invent that sound. Marty McFly did. Remember?
That's right. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Because
There we go.
his nephew was the one who caught it. But I mean, again, like I said, you can't have rock and roll without Chuck Berry. I mean, everybody was inspired by him. George Harrison, the Stones, like I said, AC/DC. So I've got to put him on my list.
Yeah, you hear his playing, and everybody's playing.
Oh
I
yeah.
have a red Gibson ES 335 hanging on my wall for that very reason. I can't play it like Chuck Berry, but
That hair, the greasy hair hanging down, is great.
Okay, my number 6. Everybody's going to be mad at me because this guy isn't number 1, and he arguably could be, but Jimi Hendrix.
Wow.
I mean,
I want to see who's
he's
better
got
than Hendrix.
He's got to be on. I mean, arguably the greatest guitar player ever. So
he is. But we're talking favorites, which doesn't
we
necessarily
are.
mean
That's
he's the
right,
greatest.
and he is one of my favorites. So
yeah,
I
he's
was fortunate
phenomenal.
enough to see
He is the
Jimmy
best.
play in 1969. So, yeah, just I love all his albums and just such an inspired musician. Incredible.
See, it's working, Glenn. He's following my tip to keep the shorts out of the out of the feed. There you go. See, it's working, man. I'm here for you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. So
Affecting
my number 6 is a guy that probably has come up with some of the most instantly recognizable guitar licks in popular music that even if you're not a music fan, you'd know some of these licks. And that's John Fogerty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the intro to like Bad Moon Rising or, Proud Mary. I mean, John Fogerty is
2 words for you.
Favorites. What's that?
Ramble Tamble. Oh, epic guitar playing.
Yep.
Good pick.
Okay. I have a feeling we're looking at Suzanne Hoffs here at a 2 or 1 for.
No, she's not even in there.
No. Okay.
I like her,
was
but
trying to
not
make
for
it
her
ridiculous.
guitar playing.
Okay. No Taylor Swift, 2 or 1.
Again, I like her, but not for her guitar
Okay.
playing.
All right. Just checking. All right. This guy. You have to
Mike
put Mike
Campbell.
Campbell in there somewhere. He could just do whatever, He can just kill it. I don't have to really explain too much about him, right? And then, what he's doing with the dirty knobs, I love every bit of it. This is the first one, obviously. I have the second. And Sam, you said there's another one probably coming out?
Yeah, they've been in the studio. Yeah, last month or so.
I bet it's not the first time we see that tonight.
Oh no. And
he should have made my list. I'm just such a big fan of Mike Campbell's. He's just
an honorable mention,
man. The Heartbreakers. That guy's just an incredible guitar player.
Yeah, I always knew, I knew Tom Petty and the lead guy. That's what I was. I always paid attention to the singer, and you always heard that guitar going on.
Yeah.
And once I realized who he was, and then I saw them in concert, it was
so integral to that band. I mean,
yeah. So that's mine.
Yeah, he wrote a lot of the music. It's kind of like a Brian Wilson, Mike Love thing.
Yeah,
to a much lesser extent, but
yeah.
I saw Jimi Hendrix at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto.
That is cool. What year was that? When did you see him?
69.
So right. Wow.
Year before
right when he's ramping up, man. Jeez.
Which is now a grocery store.
Yes.
With a hockey arena upstairs.
Yeah. At least they didn't tear it down like they did the Forum.
That's right.
Puts us in our top 5.
Yeah, number 5, Sam.
All right. Well, I've already shown one member of this band. I've got to show the other one. This guy right here.
Who's that again?
Yeah.
It's one of those Wilbury boys.
Oh, okay.
That's Ringo Starr, I think. That's
Ringo Starr. Yeah.
That's that Ringo guy.
George Harrison. I mean, again, underrated because George was so shy. I mean, even like later in life, when he toured Japan with Eric Clapton, and he didn't really play a lot of the licks. He let Eric take it over. And one of George's most famous songs, "On My Guitar Gently Weeps," he's not playing the lead on that. And so it's like, oh, what does George Harrison have to offer? But even if you just look again at his acoustic, just listen to "Here Comes the Sun" by itself. That's just unbelievable playing. Just how fast his fingers are moving. I mean, that song sounds simple, but it's not. I mean, it's based around the D chord shape, but I mean, he's all over that neck. "She Loves You," that down 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 down. It's just so early 60s British invasion sound. But then again, you listen to a song like "Till There Was You," the Meredith Willson cover. That classical guitar solo that George Harrison plays, that doon 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 doon. It's beautiful. Like, I mean, he was a young kid. He was 20 years old playing that. And that's very sophisticated. I mean, I know he was, playing along to a song that had already been written, but that's pretty complex stuff. I mean, even on the same vein, something like "I'll Follow the Sun," with that simple, that down, 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 down. It's just got that fantastic tone. "I Need You" with the jangly sound to it. And "I Love Her." I know he was playing the nylon string on that song, and he just pulled that out of thin air. They're like, "George, we need a solo here," and so that whole down, 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 and then like the whole do do do, like the arpeggios. I had to put George Harrison on there.
One of my favorite leads he does is "Until There Was You." I mean, it's kind of a cheesy,
That's what I was just saying.
That guitar lead in that is just beautiful.
Yeah, and like I said, he was 20 years old doing that.
Yeah,
if even at that point.
It's sort of simple, but it works really well. And you whistle it. It's like one of those tunes that just stick in your head. Yeah.
Isn't it a pity? I mean, if you go past the Beatles, like that slide guitar, that lead is just beautiful. Before they get to the big crescendo with the na, isn't it a pity part? His slide playing and the latter part of the Beatles career, and then to his solo career, songs like "This Is Love" and things like that. Just George Harrison. But I could keep going about him.
Yeah, amazing player. Number 5 for me. So I'm an old timer, and I was fortunate enough to grow up when I did and get to see. I saw Cream with Eric Clapton. I saw him play live. I saw him play live with Blind Faith. I saw him solo. I saw Jimmy Page and Zeppelin. I saw Jimi Hendrix. I saw Johnny Winter. I saw Roy Buchanan. Every great guitar player I could ever imagine seeing, I've seen live. And the greatest, most impressive guitar player I ever saw live was Steve Howe from Yes.
Wow.
Really?
He is just technically like just the most brilliant. When you're watching him play, you just go, how can a man do that? Like, he is just a phenomenal guitar player. So he is number 5 for me based on that. And plus, obviously, his genius work with Yes, but just incredible guitarist.
Wow.
My number 5 is a guy that has played lead guitar for 2 of my favorite singers and plays guitar on my favorite song of all time. And that's a guy by the name of Waddy Wachtel.
Oh, wow.
Linda Ronstadt. It's this guy here with the crazy hair.
Yep.
And after Linda Ronstadt, he became and still is the lead guitar player for Stevie Nicks.
Yeah.
And he's phenomenally great electric guitar player, plays a great acoustic guitar as well. He's done a lot of session work. My favorite song of all time is Tumbling Dice, the Stones cover that's on here. He is just a fantastic guitar player, and
also part of the winos with Keith Richards.
Yes,
Sense of Wanos.
Yep,
he's a wino. Yeah, he's got quite a resume. He plays with. I mean, who does? Hasn't
played with everybody? Done a ton of session work.
Yeah, like blonde hair, glasses.
Crazy like a
crazy
hair,
hair.
almost like Sideshow Bob.
Yeah.
I was just watching a Stevie Nicks Edge of 17, and he was guitar player in that. Live, whatever.
And he still plays great to this day. And he's got to be, I would think he's in his late 60s, maybe early 70s.
I'd say 70s.
I'd say in his 70s for sure.
Yeah, one in the era. Yeah. Okay. So my number. Where are we at? Where it is? Okay. This one. Mark Knopfler. You know, this is the album that dragged me in. You know, the first thing I heard was that Money for Nothing, but the guitar work on So Far Away, Walk of Life, that Brothers in Arms, where he accents everything, and it just it's just one of those songs you want to hear again and again.
What an emotional guitar break that is. That song's.
Oh, yeah, where it just gets quiet and so good. But he's another guy. I don't think he ever played with a pick. He's always using his fingers. He's a picker, and it's just amazing. His sound. He's got that sound. You hear it. You know it. Except for me, I didn't hear it in Infidels somehow until now. I was too concentrated on Dylan's voice, because it's so mesmerizing. So I didn't hear Knopfler back there. So, but yeah, so that's my guy. This is some good stuff here, Mark Knopfler.
Cool.
Beck Clapton, Glenn Campbell's great pick. He's a great guitar
player.
Ed Atkins,
underrated, I think.
John Mayer, Sam will like that one. I bet you John Mayer is going to show up here.
I was just looking at that list, and I'm really upset. My original list had Pete Townsend, and then I lost that list, and when I remade it, I forgot all about Pete Townsend. He definitely would have been my top 10. Yeah.
Arnie Larson, WW. Oh, no, there's the Charlatans. Tasty Licks. Like women from the Charlatans.
I don't know the Charlatans.
Yeah, me neither. I'm not.
I know the name, but
immediate family. So there's all the big session guys right there, all in one band.
Yeah, the Jackson Brown crew.
Yeah.
Leland Schuyler, isn't that the bass player?
Leland Schuyler, yeah.
They're all guys who play with James Taylor a lot too.
I follow him on YouTube. He's got a channel on YouTube. He's actually gonna be here, and I'm like, I wonder if I can get down there, because he's showing all the places he's playing with Lyle Lovett right now. And they were in Texas, and they do have a date coming up in the next month or so here in Clearwater at a nice theater, Capitol Theater.
You should go see Lyle Lovett. He's great live.
I wanted to see him.
He's coming here.
I've seen him a couple of times, and he's a great performer. And
yeah, he's
amazing.
great voice and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was going to do it. I had tickets for a concert one time, and he was into the bull riding thing at the time.
Yeah.
And he got messed up like by a bull, like his ribs messed up. So he had to cancel the concert. So
Wow.
yeah.
Are
But
you sure
I
that
love it. I love his voice.
what's her name? The actress he married? What was her name?
Julia Roberts.
Julia Roberts. You sure it wasn't her?
Yeah.
It was the bull?
She might have given a little kick in the side there, saying, "What am I doing with you? Cut your hair, buddy. Cut it."
Yeah. What's a good-looking guy like me doing with an ugly thing like you?
Yeah, right. I'm out.
Ooh, look at that show. Wow.
Oh wow.
Knopfler open for Dylan. Wow. Jeff, did
The
he
only
actually
match to that would
did he
be-
come out and play with Dylan at all? That'd be interesting.
Yes, I know that. I know that tour. Yeah, Knopfler stuck around and played.
Cool.
Yeah, like
Wow.
2002 or 3 or so. Yeah, there's a line.
I still like it.
It's still on the radio. There's a radio edit without that verse.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't.
It's a great.
Yeah,
it's a great
it's
song.
funny.
Yeah.
There was always a bit of humor in Knopfler. The more that I listened to Dire Straits, he always kind of had a tongue-in-cheek
Yeah.
humor, like almost like he's laughing a bit when he's singing in a lot of his stuff. Like he's just having a good time, I think. It's
Do
pretty
you have
cool.
a favorite Dire Straits song? Because I have one that just head and shoulders above all the
I
others.
do. Romeo and
they're-
Juliet.
Romeo and Juliet, me too.
No,
Oh,
it goes back and
that
forth.
song-
Yeah, I love that song.
Oh,
Man.
I wish I would
It
have
is.
written it.
oh,
Right? Yeah, it's that sweet song you want.
I love that
Yeah.
the guitar on that too. Down, 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 down. It's so good.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
look at Steve. He saw what a great songwriters tour with John Prine, John Hyatt, and Joe Eli.
I've
in
heard of
Wildland.
those guys.
Wow, man, don't get
John,
better
yeah,
than
John
that.
Hyatt's. He's always under the radar, but you hear his
John
songs
Hyatt's
like
great.
the Bonnie.
Yeah,
I
Lipstick
saw him in
Lady.
Florida last year when I was there. I saw him in Orlando. I've seen John Hyatt live like half a dozen times at least.
Yeah, another good storyteller.
2012. That's when the
Wow.
Dylan tour.
Okay, so that's like Tempest. That
Wow. John Mayer 3 times with Dead and Company. Yeah, John Mayer's a great guitar player.
Yeah. I don't get into a lot of his albums. I did get into the one that had that 80s feel. For some reason, I got into that. 'cause it had a
Sob
lot of
Rock.
good- Yeah. See, that's the one I liked because it was more melodies and things like that. I don't know why.
It's got some okay songs, but that was his most recent one. It's not my favorite by a long shot.
Yeah. And I could see a Mayer fan wouldn't be so much into
But
that album.
He does have a lot of those big session guys like Greg Phil and Jahey.
Phil Gaines.
Yeah,
Phil-
he's on it. He's all over that. Yeah.
He played with Clapton a lot, I think, right? He was like a British guitar player.
He was also all over Thriller. He
Yeah.
played with Michael Jackson for a long time too.
Mm. I thought that was Toto.
Yeah. So, all right.
Number 4, Sam.
Number 4. Let me make sure I've got it right. Yeah. Again, at this point, these last 4 are pretty much in my wheelhouse. Obviously, Harrison was too, but Roger McGuinn.
Wow.
Mm.
I mean, he pretty much invented jangle guitar. Even the 12 string was around, but in rock and roll and to electrify it, he perfected it. I mean, again, you listen to like the intro to 8 Miles High. It's just all over the place, just with the jazzy John Coltrane theme to it. Just that opening of Feel a Whole Lot Better. I know people talk about, I'm sure every guitar store in the world, if somebody walks in and picks up a 12-string guitar, they're going to play that down, 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 down. Like that's what everybody plays on that A chord. It's just, I mean, it's killer. And Roger McGuinn perfected that sound. And then again, their biggest hit, the turn, that down, 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 blum, blum. I mean, it's just, it's so good. And I've been fortunate to see McGuinn live and to hear that Rickenbacker play in person. It's just, there's just nothing like it. I mean, you hear that, you hear, their version of My Back Pages with the bound down and bound. It's just so good. And even like, Rock and Roll Star, not Oasis. So you want to be a rock and roll star, but that, I mean, it's just, he personified the folk rock sound. He started the jangle rock sound, which, in turn led to groups like the Bangles, REM. that there's alt groups, Sister Hazel, groups like that. They owed it all to the sound of the Byrds. I mean, Tom Petty, and even Dylan to an extent took the Byrds and ran with it. So McGuinn had to make my list. He might not be, a tricky guitarist to learn, but he's got a sound, and he
developed a sound for sure.
It's all about the sound. It's all about the feel. That's why he's in my list.
Wow, very cool. Okay, I'm going to go with one here that I know one person will appreciate. Number 4 to me, Frank Zappa. I mean, he's a genius musician, and he's a great guitar player. I mean, this guy can play rock and roll. He can play rock. He plays doo-wop. He can play jazz. I mean, the guy was just a phenomenal, he was a musical genius.
I was listening to some
at any time.
I was listening to some Zappa today because of you, Glenn. I'm like, Glenn raves about it. I gotta dig into it.
What did you listen to?
I've just a random playlist that was on YouTube.
Yeah, you gotta pick your spots.
Yeah. Get the Hot Rats.
What do you think?
The Hot Rats.
Yeah, Hot Rats,
That's a good starting point it's like jazz. You need a starting point. I think Hot Rats. I like Waka Jawaka now too.
Waka Jawaka is great. Yeah, Apostrophe is probably the most accessible one, I would think.
What's funny is I know all about Frank Zappa's album titles because of Glenn and Larry. Like I've never heard a note. Like I'll see, but I've heard of Waka Jawaka. I've heard of Weasels Rip My Flesh, but
probably list 20 of them. And I've never heard any of them.
Anyway,
I've never listened to a note. So
yeah, Zappa's definitely a good pick. You might see him again.
All right, am I up here?
Yes, sir.
All right, so my number 4, I'm surprised hasn't come up yet, and it might still come up. I don't know. A man I have seen twice with the band that he's associated with, and once solo, and is probably has the most unique guitar playing style, and he's friggin' brilliant. Lindsey Buckingham.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's on my especially when he did Big Love live and just the guitar, and it sounded like 3 guitars going. Yeah.
Just the way that he plays without a pick, he's playing lead and rhythm at the same time. It just, as a guitar player, I look at that and go, why do I even bother? I mean,
2 brains.
Yeah.
And
there's a YouTube video.
So I've seen him twice with Fleetwood Mac, and the first time I saw him, he did what I called some guitar masturbation, where the band left and it was just him on the stage, and he played like this 15-minute long solo that was just out of this world, and it was loud and awesome and whatever. And then I've seen him in a theater by himself doing solo acoustic, and it's just absolute opposite ends of the spectrum, and both were breathtaking. And so I'd like to put him higher up in my list, but I got 3 others that I my top 3 are immovable, so he ends up at number 4.
Wow, great pick.
You said something, Rob, and you used the 2 words, the band, and it completely made me realize I left off Robbie Robertson, and it pains me.
Stay tuned.
He would have been
There's
probably top 5 if I ever remembered him.
He may be making an appearance.
There's so many. Oh.
All right.
You're up, John.
So number 4. There it is again.
There we go, Frank.
I had to, now that I'm getting into him, now that I'm seeing what he really does, getting past that silliness of Joe's Garage and all that, and watching that documentary, I mean, it just shows you how his mind worked. And there was an interview on YouTube where he was talking about how other guitar players stick to a pattern, a rhythm, a sound, a feel. And he's like, each time you hear me play, it won't be the same. It's like it's a more of a what it's coming out of me at the moment, So I think you're getting me into Zappa here, Glenn. I think you're slowly dragging me.
It's like you hit the nail on the head. Like, I'm not into the childish stuff like Joe's Garage and Shake Your Booty. The lyrically, even those albums are kind of poppy, kind of like they're more commercial. And if you get into his deep music, I mean, there's no one better.
Yeah, so that's when I would say, Rob, start with this one. Listen to the whole album, especially I think his Peaches and Regalia is the first song on it.
Yeah, first song.
And there's only one song with lyrics, and Captain Beefheart is actually singing that one. Was it Willie the Pimp. Yeah, Willie the Pimp.
I mean, the guitar playing in Willie the Pimp is just incredible.
Yeah. So that's your starting point right there.
Zappa will be my next project after the Grateful Dead, which I'm embarking on. So.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
You
Welcome
did it,
to the
Glenn.
rabbit hole.
You got me in there.
It's a good place to be.
All right, what do we got here?
Keith Jarrett.
I've never heard that.
That would
my
be
favorite
interesting
song.
to hear.
Yeah, I love that song.
My back pages.
Jeff knows of which he speaks.
He's just sucking up.
Fellow Canadian.
Yeah, right. We're outnumbered, John.
Yeah.
Do you know Jeff? Because he lives out your way, I think.
Jeff lives about 15 minutes away from me, and one of these days we're going to get together.
You've never met up? You've never met?
No, we tried to a couple months back, but then some scheduling happened, but we're going to. Like, we live, he's the next town over, about 15 minutes away from each other. So, Blake, you're a smart ass.
Shake Your Booty. I don't like those albums. I can't listen to them. Shake Your Booty and Joe's Garage, which are two of his most famous albums, I don't like.
Those are more up Larry's alley.
Yeah.
Blake is my brother from another mother.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Yeah, I had the compilation from
soon. You're going to meet up soon.
Soon. We keep talking about it. We're going to.
Well, once the spring hits, we're going to do another Toronto get-together.
Absolutely.
Once the weather's, everybody can drive safely, and it's a warm enough day that we can hang out without freezing to death.
I'll be there.
We're doing
right.
it.
I do. I need to make my way up to Canada. I really do.
You do.
That's right.
I could do a whole loop and meet a ton of you guys.
Mm-hmm.
All you need to do is come to Toronto. There's about 15 of us within an hour and a half.
Yeah. And we all sleep in Glenn's basement.
Yep.
Here we go.
There you
I got
go.
lots of room. I got lots of room. You can sleep in my basement for a year.
I'll lull
even know
everybody
you
to
were
sleep.
here.
We'll lull down to the banjo. You know.
Yeah.
There we go.
I started playing again, by the way. Today.
I was just thinking I haven't sent you songs. I need
I
to do
picked
that.
it up today and started playing again. Been a while.
Ready for that top three?
Ready.
All right. I have a feeling this one might show up with Rob at least. But again, we've only got three left, so the pickings are slim now. But I've got to go with The Edge.
Never heard of that band before.
Oh, they're a group called Rattle and Hum. Their debut single
okay.
was called U2.
Okay.
Yeah. They're a ska band.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they only sing in the Hindu, the Indian, Sanskrit language. No, I mean I've always loved the Edge. Again, we were talking earlier about guitars. Once the Edge puts his fingers on a guitar, you know what kind of tone he's going to use. You know,
I think he's probably the most unique guitar player in music because I've heard him say before, and I'm sorry to steal your thunder, Sam. He always talks about he likes to use notes very sparingly and build as big a sound as he can with as few as notes as possible. And it's just an incredible way to play.
Well, you can tell. I mean, we were talking about B.B. King earlier. It's kind of a similar idea, except B.B. King wasn't using all the pedals that the Edge uses, but it's the same thing. The Edge doesn't have to be playing every note all the time because obviously with U2, unless Bono picked up a guitar the few times that he did, you weren't having rhythm and lead at the same time. It was whatever the Edge was doing.
Right.
I mean, and he talks about in a documentary, I think it was It Might Get Loud. One of his favorite licks is, With or Without You, that just that D with a sustain. Down, down. Like that's one of his favorite things to play. And that's what every guitarist ever can play with the D chord. But I mean, that fade in intro to Where the Streets Have No Name. I mean, that is just chilling what he can do. That down, and then it's the like he just strums it. He kind of pulls a Pete Townsend right there with how he's strumming, and then Adam comes in with the bass. It's just killer. But then he can play against so sparse with like Van Diemen's Land, the way that he's just picking the chords out. He's not even really playing lead or a lick. He's just finger picking the chords, and he does it so well with his tone. I Will Follow, kind of like that post-punk sound with the very first album. Just how that starts, very industrial sounding. Back when U2 wasn't sure if they were still new wave or if they were going to be doing their own thing. Even that early stage, that's the Edge. Even if you only know Joshua Tree, you can hear that song. You're like, oh, that's early YouTube. Well, sure, that's the Edge. I mean, you can tell that instantly.
Yep.
So he had to make my list. I think he's underrated, even though he was in that documentary with Jimmy Page, one of the gods. You never hear him talked about in the likes of a Hendrix or a Page because of all of his pedals, because of the effects. But take that away, he's still.
It's a different way of playing, though, right?
Yeah.
He's not playing guitar in the traditional sense. He's sort of painting a sonic picture with the guitar, and he's utilizing the technology to make a soundscape.
Yeah. Yep.
Blake, who's watching in the peanut gallery here, he and I went to see U2. It was the second U2 concert I've been to. One of the greatest concerts of my life. It's incredible.
Very cool.
Good pick, Sam.
That's number 3. Okay, my pick is probably not going to be anybody else's list, but the man is a phenomenal musician. Robert Fripp from King Crimson. This guy is so inventive, so different from anyone else who's ever lived who plays a guitar, and has been King Crimson, the face of King Crimson, whatever, since 1969. He's the only guy who's been constant throughout, and he is in his, I'm going to say Robert Fripp's probably like 76 years old. He still practices 6 hours a day, every day, 7 days a week, because he can't play the stuff he's invented unless he stays on top of his game like that.
Wow.
And he's written songs that no one else can play. He's got a song called Fracture that he can hardly play. Like he has to study it to play it himself. And not only that, his session work, he was such in demand. He played with Bowie on Bowie's great song Heroes. He played on that album and on that song. He played with Daryl Hall. Daryl Hall's first solo album was called Sacred Soul. Robert Fripp produced that and is all over it. The guy's just a phenomenal musician, just in a world of his own.
Cool. 6 hours. That's a lot of calluses.
Yeah.
My number 3 is a guitar player by the name of Dave Evans, who's just a fantastic guitar player. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of him before. This guy right here.
Very.
Edge.
Wasn't she married to Dave? Oh, I thought she was married to Roy Rogers.
Okay.
So the Edge. I mean, for all the reasons.
I didn't know what his real name was. That's a StumpUs question.
There you go. Dave Evans is his real name, and Bono's real name is Paul Hewson.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, the Edge is just for all the reasons we talked about. He plays guitar unlike anybody else, and he should be considered one of the greats, but unfortunately he isn't. So, anyway, the Edge.
Well, again, another guitarist who, when you hear him play, you know it's the Edge.
Yep.
Look at that. We got our first match of the night, me and Sam.
Yeah, it's a match.
John and I have matched a couple times.
Oh, y'all matched on Zappa.
Oh,
we
that's
matched on Zappa and Mark Knopfler.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah. All right.
See, Art's agreeing with me. Great pick, Glenn Fripp. Thank you.
Got to have that guy. I mean, he just got so many. Comfortably Numb just says it all for me. Every time I hear it, I want to hear it again. I want to hear it longer. I want to hear more of it. But yeah, just his sound, Gilmore.
Another one who has a unique tone. You know it's David Gilmour the second he plays.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean,
beautiful.
It's and he does little things in there that, it sounds like it's something easy, but he just throws these little pieces of, quick parts in there, and you're like, okay. Even Wish You Were Here. I mean, just the little licks in there. That solo sounds really easy to play, but it's not. So, yep, that's my number 3. Got to put in David Gilmour.
Wow. Are you guys following the big feud now going on again with those two?
Well,
what now?
So Gilmour, I guess, Waters is so outspoken about the war in Ukraine and about Israel and the Palestine. He's politically outspoken and has some different views, to say the least. And Gilmour's wife, Polly
Sampson, yeah.
She writes all the lyrics for David's solo stuff and some of the later Floyd stuff. She contributed lyrics to. And that anyway, she put a tweet up, or a Twitter thing, whatever they call it, saying these things about Waters, that he's an anti-Semite and he cheats on his taxes, and he does, like, it was some weird thing. She went on and on and on. And David Gilmour went on and approved of the tweet. So now there's Waters is saying, I'm waiting to talk to people about what my response should be. Like, he's threatening to sue them for slander. And so if you think Pink Floyd was ever going to get back together, it's happening now.
Likely not.
No.
This just all happened.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'll stick with what Floyd recorded. I'll just
no kidding.
I don't.
Too bad.
And Gilmour, he kind of ran it into the ground a bit with Endless River and stuff. It's good, but it's not Floyd.
Yeah.
Even Momentary Lapse took that turn. As much as I love that album, took that turn, and then So
the Momentary Lapse and Division Bell, I really like. I like those albums.
I do.
There's some great stuff on there, but the Endless River was kind of jumped the shark.
You can argue that Final Cut did too. On the Waters end.
See, that was like a Wall Part 2, and that was the decision they needed to make between, I think it was the Wall Pros and Cons and Hitchhiking, or the Final Cut.
The Muse
and they chose Final Cut. Yeah, but they were going to do even Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking as a Pink Floyd album. He had both of those albums ready to go. So, I like the Final Cut. It's not Floyd, but I don't know. I always... Because it was one I found in a discount bin, and I was like, I never heard of this Floyd album before. So I got into it. It's like the Wall Part 2, pretty much.
Minus Gilmour singing.
Yeah, that's true. That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Art.
So what do you got, Rob? You're up, right?
Flip 3 times doing the Soundscapes opening for Porcupine Tree. Wow, very cool. That would have been interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, listen to the High Hopes, the way he plays that steel guitar.
Yeah.
What
a beautiful song that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why it took me so long to get into that album, but I'm glad I'm into it now.
Yeah, that was your entry to Larry's contest. Was the Vision? Yeah.
Yep.
Top
Number two.
Number 2, Sam.
What could it be? Well,
I wonder.
It was mentioned earlier, and I tried to play it off cool, but John Mayer, number 2.
Okay.
John Mayer, if I had a fraction of his talent, I would be a rich man. He can play anything. I mean, like somebody was saying earlier with Dead and Company, he didn't really know the Dead. And I remember when he was first asked by Bob Weir to join the Dead, they gave him 100 songs, and he was just playing them, like all the covers that they do and everything. I mean, I will be the first to say that John Mayer probably is the reason I got into the Dead more than I did. Like, I first heard Tennessee Jed because of John Mayer. And I love that song. And I love Jerry's version of Tennessee Jed, like the Grateful Dead version of Tennessee Jed because of John Mayer. But, you take his blues stuff. I mean, there are songs like the song Vultures, which he did with the John Mayer Trio. It's also on this album. It's straight from the blues, and the blues guys respected John Mayer. John Mayer's played with B.B. King. He's played with Buddy Guy. Again, the trio, he's got Pino Palladino, who plays with The Who, and Steve Jordan. So he's got the chops. And like I've said 100 times, on that Born and Raised album, he's played with Nash and Crosby when Crosby was alive. But again, take him for what he is as a musician. Just listen to the song Neon. It is one of the most difficult songs I have ever heard anybody attempt to play. It is just unbelievably fast. I don't know how he does it. And the chords that he uses, his hands are massive. So he gets these crazy chord shapes, kind of like Angus Young. Because I think Angus Young said his hand can stretch 7 or 8, frets. It's crazy. Yeah, something ridiculously insane. And Mayer's kind of similar.
But that's on a ukulele though.
Right. Yeah, it's a uke. But there's another song that he does called Slow Dancing in a Burning Room. It's just this slow, mournful blues song. And I credit Mayer a lot with kind of trying to revitalize the blues. Because if you listen to his album Where the Light Is, which is a acoustic. I mean, it's a live album that he does acoustic the first set, then with the trio, then full band. He starts ripping into a blues cover. I can't remember which one it was, but it was like Madison Square Garden or wherever he was playing, just like screamed because of him just hitting these simple blues licks. And he's like, you've made my night because I just had 15,000 people scream for a slow blues number. So he's like, that's pretty cool to me. So I mean, again, John Mayer is, take him for what you will. He can play a guitar, and he can play it as good as any of them that I've mentioned. Obviously, for me, better than 9 out of the 10. Well, I'll state he cannot play it better necessarily, but he plays for his style, and again, he can go all over the place: blues, jam, pop, acoustic, country, whatever. John Mayer is it. So he is number 2.
Very cool. My number 2, I said earlier, the 2 guys from one band, Duane Allman is number 2. And just a phenomenal talent who died way too young. Incredible slide player. He could play anything. And the session work he did, if you look at his resume, playing with Wilson Pickett and Aretha Franklin and whoever else he played with at Stax Records and I think in Atlantic or wherever labels, and stuff with King Curtis and just the stuff he came up with the Allman Brothers. I mean, he was just the heart and soul of that band, and to pass away so young, he was just an incredible guitar player. He's my number 2. And can argue he should be number 1.
Sure.
Yeah.
My number 2 may have been mentioned, and somebody was remorseful that they didn't include him.
Mm-hmm.
Robbie Robertson from the band. Not a big fan of his solo stuff, to be quite honest, but love what he did with the band. Incredible songwriter. Never sang with the band, sang in his solo stuff. Again, not a big fan, but just a great guitar player. It's not flash and show, but it's just incredible musicianship. When you think of the songs that the band recorded, I only had one guitar player. I mean, he did a great job of playing rhythm, playing lead together. However he did it, phenomenal. Incredible live performer. Like, you watch The Last Waltz, and I'm astounded. I've seen it 100 times, and I'm astounded every time I watch it. Did stuff with Dylan. Robbie Robertson, love him.
Yeah, and he's another guy with unique tone and unique style, and the way he strikes the strings and those little kind of like, I don't know how to describe the technique he has on the guitar, but
it's
choppy kind of notes, and that just are really unique. He is a fabulous talent, and I do like his solo stuff.
That copper Stratocaster he played on The Last Waltz, I think, is the sexiest guitar that's ever been made.
Wow.
And I will say he does sing a really pretty song with the band, To Kingdom Come.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, if you read Levon Helm's book, which shits all over Robbie Robertson, he was in his I Hate Robbie Robertson phase when he wrote that book. And
there was a time
they turned down Robbie's microphone so he could pretend he was singing.
Oh, you can't hear him in Last Waltz at all.
Yeah.
He's nowhere in the mix.
Yeah.
Well, didn't he have a voice injury or something at one point? I thought he had an injury.
I'm not sure.
I have to look that up.
He doesn't have like he hasn't got like a pleasant.
Not a great
singing voice. He uses it effectively in this.
Yeah, he doesn't try to hit high harmonies or anything like that.
I'm actually a big fan of his solo records.
Really?
Yeah.
What was that big?
Well, I like that.
The self-titled one that Daniel Lanois produced is fantastic. Yeah. It's a great album. Somewhere Down the Lazy River and Following.
Yeah, that's Down the Lazy River. That's one.
I really like the his latest one. What was it? Cinematic, where he did that song.
I have that album.
I Hear You Paint Houses with Van Morrison.
That's a great song with Van Morrison.
They did that from like the Irishman movie.
Yeah,
because he's still friends with Scorsese.
Yeah, great. Just a phenomenal talent for sure.
Hey, good night, Steve. Steve's leaving.
Good night, Steve.
Stevie. I didn't pick Rory Gallagher. Sorry.
He's got to look good with his shirtless videos, that he's so fond of.
Yeah.
How was he on the treadmill at 4 a.m? You're crazy, man. 4 in the morning's for sleeping.
He was probably passed out on the treadmill after drinking all night. Woke up on the treadmill going, what the hell am I doing here?
Okay,
right,
what do you got for number 2, John?
Well, John's number 2.
All right. Well, you got to put this guy on the list.
Oh,
why did I forget him? Son of a...
He was on my short list.
Yeah. So just, yeah. I mean, what are you going to say? Just this, especially this album right here. It's amazing. Yeah. He had a great voice too. You know, a lot of people don't look at that, but he could really belt it out. And he was like everything, like as far as guitar player. And you watch any of those live videos on YouTube and you just wish you could play just half of that, you know, what he could pull off. So just another one of those talents we lost.
Too soon.
Yeah.
Tragically.
There's a documentary on Netflix about it too, like those last years or so where he was sobering up and getting himself back on track. Yeah, it was the later years. It kind of talked about his earlier stuff. I forgot there was a lady he sang with at one point, and she shows up on one of his albums, I think at Carnegie Hall. But he was getting himself together, getting with his girlfriend, and they're moving out, and
putting out some great stuff too at the time. Like, I mean, that's his latest stuff before he passed away is bad. He just kept getting better and better.
He parallels to me like Hendrix, that he was building and building.
Well, he was like Jimi Hendrix meets Albert Collins or something. It was like he took the Hendrix, heavy Hendrix blues stuff and meshed it with the old blues pioneers and came up with a real unique thing. He was.
Yeah.
I got to see Stevie once too, so that was cool.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I saw him on a triple bill with Jeff Beck and Jeff Healy.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, amazing.
Wow. Why didn't they hire any talent for that?
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, no kidding.
Jeez.
We're down to number 1.
John's got to stump us here though. So,
John's got to stump us.
Hit it.
Yeah,
all right, plug your ears, everybody. Here comes the sound. Here we go.
Who was
my mic is turned off?
The coolest dude on the panel.
There you go.
What was it? Who was the coolest dude on the panel tonight? Well, that's up to the audience to answer this one. We'll see. I'm
going to vote for myself.
I already know the answer, but we'll see if.
Yeah. I think it might be a 4-way split on that one.
So there's a couple
wife is watching.
There's a couple of John Mayer questions.
All right, hold on. Here we go.
The stage too. He's up there.
Art saw the Division Bell tour. I saw the Floyd. I can't remember what tour I saw. I think I saw the Momentary Lapse of Reason tour.
So you post Waters.
Yeah, post Waters. Coolest or best list? No, the coolest guy. Who's the best looking guy in the panel? It's me or Sam.
It's definitely Glenn. I would say
I'm going to kick you off of this stream, Glenn, because I have the power to do that tonight.
I think it's this guy. There you go.
Yeah, Frank.
Brought Frank along here.
I got him too, but I didn't take it out of the box.
No, I would say technically Continuum is it's probably the best. It's not my favorite. But I mean, even John Mayer himself says the song Gravity from that album is the best record that he's ever made.
What do you think his best album is for if you want to just hear his guitar playing and you don't want to listen to his crappy songs?
Well, he doesn't do instrumentals, so
yeah. No, I'm just teasing. Is there like an album where it really shows off his musical talent?
This is probably the bluesiest out of all of them. Continuum. There's a live album that he did with the trio. I think from like the New Orleans Jazz Festival. So it's just him, Pino, and Steve Jordan.
Oh, what's that called?
I think it's just John Mayer, like Trio Live, John Mayer Trio Live. It's one I don't own. I'm not sure if it's still in stock or not, but I mean, Continuum had a couple of those radio hits that people probably don't like the song "Say" is on here, waiting on the world to change. But the song "Vultures" is incredible. Gravity, "Slow Dancing in a Burning Room." Bold. He does a cover of "Bold as Love" on this, the Jimi Hendrix song.
Wow,
yeah.
Interesting.
And
"Where the Light Is."
Yeah, where the light is. Yeah. Well, no. Where the Light Is, that's the triple bill. So if you listen to the album Where the Light Is, there's a section with the trio, but there's also a standalone trio album that's also out there. I'm not sure if it was official or not, but anyway.
All right.
Just look up John Mayer Trio.
You got me convinced to give it a shot.
Yeah. So.
What's
Yeah.
Chance, I love you, buddy.
He's with the AT&T girl?
HOF. Let me figure that out. HOF. Oh, AT&T. Well, yeah, what's her name?
She's a good-looking lady. Yeah.
I can see her. I can picture her. Yeah.
I hate him just because what he did to Taylor Swift. So. And the fact that I didn't. So. You know,
yeah, that's the real reason. Yeah.
That's the real rub. She wrote the song "Dear John" about him.
And he wrote Paper Doll about her. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Never heard it. Don't want to hear it.
No, it's awesome.
Oh yeah. No, that's not her name. Milana. She used to do skits on YouTube.
I like that. I like that. That hat isn't doing Rob any favors for picking coolest dude.
Oh boy, what do we have here?
The Chicago.
That better?
No.
Hey.
It's either that or you see my shiny bald head. Take a pick.
Yeah, leave the hat on. Okay. Yeah, put the head back.
No.
Then turn
Some of us are blessed with golden locks like Sam's.
I am technically blonde. You can't tell it on the
Well, whatever.
So it would be golden. Yeah, Gravity. Yeah, Blake, you're correct. That song is just. He always closes the show with it. Just. Yeah, it's just. He's on my bucket list to see solo. No doubt.
I love you less for that, Blake.
I love him more. So he's break even, man.
Okay, so we're in the number one.
Number one. Yeah, winding down here too. Number one.
Mike Campbell.
For one thing, I'm mad.
I bet I could guess this one, but
is it Mike Campbell? Do you think?
Well, who are what are the guesses if we're playing this game?
Mike Campbell. Who else would it be?
Like I said, I've left out for my honorable mentions. If I'll go there first, Mark Knopfler's been mentioned. He was on my list. Robbie Robertson was I can't believe I left him off. Pete Townsend was another one that I left off. Van Halen was another one. And Davy Johnstone was also on my list from Elton John's band.
Oh.
But number one,
Mike Campbell.
Shocking. Holy shit.
Yeah, I know. I like to keep you all guessing here, but yeah,
knock me over with a feather.
What can you say? I mean, good night, American Girl.
Excuse me.
Listen to that song. Just the solo in American Girl is killer. Running Down a Dream, that was all improv in the studio. I think he played like a 5-minute solo before they finally said, "We're done. we're done here, Mike." Listen to Her Heart. Again, he's taking some of that McGuinn sound.
Yeah.
Down, 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 down. And then that solo where he's way up there. Down, 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 down. And then another one that I added to my list, partly because of our friend Gary, Physical Format, did a great episode on the song Woman in Love, She's Not Me, but It's Not Me.
Oh, yeah.
That bow, down, 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 bow, down, 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 from Hard Promises. Killer. And then he's doing some really gritty stuff with the Dirty Knobs on those two records. Just fantastic. Petty like, but a little bit grittier, a little bit more garagey sound. Refugee. He plays the guitar in Boys to Summer, which he wrote the music for Don Henley. That down, down, down. He played with Stevie Nicks a ton. He's all over Belladonna. He's played with everybody. He played with Johnny Cash with the rest of the Heartbreakers. Stop Dragging My Heart Around. That bow, down, 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 down. It's just he's my guy. Again, like I've said, other than Petty, Campbell's the second coolest person ever to exist.
I love Mike Campbell. He's great. I can't argue with you.
So that's number one.
He just fell off the bottom of my list.
Well, you fell off the bottom of mine after saying that.
No, listen, I love him. I've got a ton of Petty. I've got both Dirty Knobs albums. I love them, but I had other people I had to put on my list.
I know, yeah. All right, Glenn.
My number one.
Oh,
looking over my shoulder.
The StreamYard duck.
His name might be Jerry Garcia, the coolest dude that ever walked the planet. I've never written about or written read about or studied or looked up musicians that love music more than Jerry Garcia did. I mean, this man lived to play. If he wasn't playing with the Grateful Dead, he was playing in bars with the Jerry Garcia band on Monday nights, or he just loved to play, played on tons of other records. And music was just such a passion, and he was such a great guitar player, and he could play anything. He could play jazz, he could play blues, he could play rock, he could play bluegrass, he could play folk. Just the coolest frickin' dude that ever walked the earth. And I can listen to him play all frickin' day long. You can just noodle away on a guitar, and I'm just like in heaven.
And you got your Jerry hat on too.
He is, and I got my Jerry hat on, and he's just one of my all-time human being heroes. I love that man.
And he eats marshmallows.
Yes.
All right. My number one, I'm sure some of you might guess this. Sam could probably guess what my number one is.
I'm trying to think.
Really? I talk about this guy all the time as my guitar hero.
Going with Joe Walsh.
Joe Walsh.
It's the guitar player from ABBA. What's his name?
Benny.
Benny? No.
No, it's Joe Walsh. It's got to be Joe Walsh.
Yeah.
It's Joe Walsh. What a shocker, right? I love Joe Walsh. I think he's crazy. He's a lunatic. I love him with the Eagles. I love him even more with James Gang than I do with the Eagles. His solo stuff is great.
Which album is that? Which one do you have there?
It's a live one.
You can't argue with a sick mind.
It's where he covers ABBA.
Yeah.
Exactly. That one's live, right?
What's that?
That's a live album.
Yeah. I think he's great live. He's got again another one of those guys that he's got his own sound, and I don't really know how to describe it. It's
he could play effortlessly. He could play batshit drunk, just falling off the stage and still.
The man is lucky to be alive. He probably doesn't remember 20 years of his life, but even back then he was incredible. And he has gotten better with age. He plays better now than he's ever played. I've had the privilege to see him once with the Eagles, and I don't remember. I think it was when they did Funk 49, and he's doing the solo, and I'm just there. It was almost like a spiritual moment for me to hear him do that, and I'm
right there.
Yeah,
it was incredible.
Yeah, that's a great pick. Yeah. He should have been on my list somewhere. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Joe's awesome.
I mean, far from the greatest guitar player ever, but of all guitar players, he's the one I enjoy listening to the most.
I won't argue with that one.
So my number one, very underrated, his work on We Didn't Start the Fire, his chord work. I mean, you can't, it's not a song you can play on piano. So he picked up that guitar and just killed everybody. All right. But anyway, okay. So here's my number one. I had to put him first. You guys are like, what the hell's wrong with this dude? So Jimi Hendrix, that's my number one. I just couldn't put anybody above. I just couldn't. That was the number one.
He's
just what he was doing,
where
he was going, what he was going to do with Miles Davis in the jazz field at some point. That the horn and all that stuff he brought in on Electric Ladyland, and you heard what Miles was doing with his fusion at the time. And just in 70, they were at Miles's apartment talking about doing an album together later that year, which just never happened. So another one of those big losses right there.
I predict Jimmy would have joined the Bee Gees and gotten into disco.
He could have gotten funky.
I'm just kidding. You
had to throw your Billy Joel zinger. Yeah. Well, they wanted Paul McCartney too on bass. I think we've talked about this. But
McCartney. Yeah, they were talking about doing a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't know where Jimmy would have gone. It would have been interesting.
I think he would have gone the Zappa route, because I mean, how many posthumous releases and how many of those unreleased songs came out after he died? I mean, he was prolific.
Yeah.
So I think
another guy he just lived in the studio. He just played.
He would have put out a record a year easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even now, he was going into his 80s.
The greatest of all time, no doubt.
Yep.
Wow, very
Yeah,
cool. Anybody
I don't
got
know
any
what he would
honorable
change
mentions? Because I got a couple.
Yeah, I
Sam?
think I mentioned mine, but yeah, the guys I left off and Davy Johnstone.
Well, I want to mention somebody I saw last year, and I knew he was a good guitar player, but I didn't know how good until I saw him. Was Jack White?
Oh yeah,
Man,
Oh yeah, that's a good choice.
he's an incredible player and great performer too. So
again,
Jack
somebody
White,
else that knows how to use a pedal, like the Edge.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
they're lost brothers.
yeah, and another guy, Jethro Tull, Martin Barr, is one of my favorite guitar players, and Michael Bloomfield,
Mm.
one of the great blues players of all time. And somebody, Arnie, is mentioning Ry Cooder, who's absolutely my favorite guitar player in the world. But I just didn't pick Ry because I didn't want to put him in the rock genre. I was more thinking rootsy kind of stuff.
Yeah, we stuck more to rock tonight.
So, but Ry Cooder would have been number one if I was just picking any guitar players. So
Derek Trucks, that's another good pick.
Derek Trucks is what a great slide player. Yeah, what a great guitar
Don
player.
Felder's a
Tedeschi
guy
Trucks
that does
is-
not get the recognition he deserves. Don Felder's phenomenal.
Tedeschi Trucks is one of the great bands.
Yep.
I've never got a chance to see them live. They were kind of my bucket list band to see. But people who see them just say that's the best touring band in the world right now is Tedeschi Trucks. And they're touring Florida, John.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see them. I have that whole last album they put out with the 4 EPs
Yeah.
and the Layla.
You should check and see
I
if they're
would love
coming
to see
anywhere
them.
near you because they're playing Florida in March, I think.
You have to check it out. And there's a guy that plays with them on the Layla one, Doyle Bramhall. That's a guy that I like too.
Yeah.
Right out of the Stevie Ray Vaughan camp there.
Mm-hmm.
The Layla album, I know Glenn knows this. That was recorded about an hour and 20 minutes from where I live.
Oh, the Lockin' Festival's close to you?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
It's in Nelson County, Virginia.
When is that festival every year?
It was kind of weird during COVID. I know. I want to say May.
Wow. You never think about going, eh?
Well, see, I'm not a big festival guy.
Yeah.
Just standing outside in the heat is just not for me.
Yeah.
That's like even like outdoor venues. Like I will never buy a lawn ticket as long as I live.
Oh, yeah?
No.
I don't know. Just depends. Take a blanket with you or something, sit there.
But see, the only chance that I had to have actually seen Tom Petty, he was in Lock-In in 2014 with Steve Winwood when they were on that tour, and Willie Nelson was there on that festival that year too.
Oh my God!
Because that Lock-In festival that was kind of started by like the string cheese incident was big in starting that. Bob Weir and some of the guys from the Dead had a big hand in it. But yeah, I mean it's a big event. Lots of people volunteer there too.
Wow.
Blues Traveler goes a lot. Guys like that. Warren Haynes, the Almonds were there. Greg Almonds played solo there when he was alive.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So,
Rob, you got any honorable mentions?
I don't think so. I mean, I didn't include Hendrix. I love Hendrix, but there were others I enjoy more. Mike Campbell, obviously, love him.
Jeff Beck never made anybody's list and should have.
He should have. Yeah. Trying to think who else. Obviously, Sam St. John.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah. Glenn Kellaway on banjo.
Jeff is saying goodnight. I'm off. Great list, guys.
hey, Jeff.
Jeff.
We'll see you, man.
Night, Jeff.
Awesome.
Yeah, I would definitely. Yeah, I would have like you said. I got distracted here. Sorry. What's his name? Joe Walsh definitely would make my short list. Yeah, Doyle Bramhall. There's probably so many I'm forgetting right now. I'm trying to think. I know there's so many people that have there's a guy, John Butcher. I was looking for the album too, and I brought him up. He has the album Wishes. It was an 80s album, kind of styled himself after Hendrix with some of the guitar playing. But if you ever get a chance to hear that one, give it a shot. And I couldn't find it over there. Yeah.
Yeah, there's all kinds of like Art mentions L.D. Miola. I mean, there's all kinds of those guys. I mean, one of the great guitar albums of all time is that Friday Night in San Francisco album with John McLaughlin and L.D. Miola and Paco de Lucia. I mean, if you don't have that album, you need to run out and get it.
I don't have it.
It's 3 acoustic guitar players.
Go run out and get it, Sam. We'll wait for you.
It's an incredible album. As a guitarist, you need it. Really, you do.
If it's not at the Walmart right down the hill for me, then nothing's open. Yeah.
Incredible album.
Yeah, Walmart's no longer 24 hours after the pandemic. It's like they close at 10 or 11 now.
Wow.
No more late night looking at the crazies coming in at Walmart, man. That was like the best.
Yeah.
Mm.
You
The
never
first
know what
night-
you were going to see.
The first night that I ever stayed, and completely off topic, the first night that I was ever in this apartment, I needed some preliminary groceries because obviously I hadn't got anything. My refrigerator was empty. So I went down to Walmart again that very first day. I've been in this Walmart multiple times, and my grandparents live a few minutes away. But I come outside to unload the groceries into my car, and the guy next to me is getting interrogated by police for shoplifting. And I feel like George Costanza because they were kind of like blocking my door. It's like I wanted to put it on one side, and I was kind of like, could you make the arrest a little bit further away from my car?
Yeah, really, no kidding.
It was like when the guy jumped off the roof, and landed on George's car. It was kind of one of those situations. So I haven't been back yet for groceries there.
How about female guitarists? That could be another show. Yeah, it could be.
Bonnie Raitt.
Bonnie
Samantha
Raitt.
Fish.
Oh, yeah. She'd
Samantha
make the top of
Fish.
the list. Yeah.
I mean, Joni Mitchell, if
Joni Mitchell would be maybe
Yeah.
my top.
Grace
of my
Potter.
Grace Potter,
Yeah.
Susanna Hoffs. We talked about her earlier.
Well,
Joan
she's at the top of all of my lists.
Jett. She's your favorite
Oh,
male
yeah.
and female singer.
Sure.
Yeah, Lita Ford, probably.
Yeah, I don't know if Chrissy Hind would make that list for guitarists. Or is she more of a rhythm guitar?
More
player?
rhythm. I think more rhythm, yeah. You know who was actually surprising was, what's her name from the Cranberries? I didn't know she did a
Dolores
lot of those
O'Riordan.
lead parts.
Dolores.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea she did all those lead parts. And
Oh,
when I
really?
saw them
I
live,
didn't know that either.
yeah, I'm like, look, I'm going, okay, where did this come from? And they're kind of melodies, like when Neil Young does a melody kind of thing.
Yeah.
But she's a good guitar player.
I'll tell you another one. Big Mama Thornton.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
She could
yeah.
play some
Let's
guitar.
get into that. Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
Willie May.
What was the other? Who was the other one? Shoot. the
What's
other
her
blues
name?
lady.
Brittany, whatever, from Alabama.
Brittany Howard.
She's a
Brittany
decent
Howard.
player.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah.
from Alabama Shakes.
And if you want to go outside of rock, Mother Maybell, for me, I mean, that's an inspiration.
Yeah, oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
That's
the
you're
one.
thinking. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you who's actually, I mean, because she can do everything. Dolly Parton can actually play a pretty good acoustic guitar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Especially those
There's
fingernails.
a bunch.
That's what's so crazy. Yeah, those like plastic fingernails she puts on.
Briar
Yeah.
makes me feel old. I'm off to complete some schoolwork. Oh God.
Shoot, I don't miss that.
Yeah. I never did any schoolwork, so I don't.
You was too busy seeing Cream and Led Zeppelin.
I was not into school.
stealing Monkeys records.
I got D plus. Good enough.
Yeah.
Got me through.
Hey, see you, Blake.
I'll see you in a
What's
bit,
going on
Blake.
this? So we're talking about next week doing Monday night instead of Tuesday night
Because of Valentine's
because
Day.
it's Valentine's Day on
I
Tuesday.
can't do Monday night next
You
week.
can't.
Nope.
Maybe we might need to be taking a week off next week.
Who cares about Valentine's Day?
Well, we can't do our other show on Tuesday night, our thing.
With
So
Rich. Yeah.
it's Rich. So unless we do maybe Wednesday night,
We do Wednesday. I'm good with Wednesday.
I could
I'll have
probably
to
do
look.
Wednesday chat. I think.
What is that?
Yeah.
The 8?
I mean, I could do Tuesday nights too, but now I'm not doing Monday night, Tuesday night. Yeah, probably
Yeah.
Wednesday be better. If we can do it, we'll email around and see.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'll have to
Yeah.
see.
yeah. I can't think of what else is coming up. Anything? You guys getting any new records coming in, or you haven't bought a record for 2 months? You said. Rob.
I did just buy a record yesterday. Yeah, I bought off eBay. I bought one of the YouTube fan club releases from a couple years ago. It's a very early show that they did in Dublin. I think it's called Another Time, Another Place, I think is the name of the release. It's a double vinyl LP.
Oh wow!
I snagged the copy off of eBay. I love grabbing those YouTube fan club releases. So that's the first one I bought in a while.
Yeah, for me, I'm backlogged on stuff because I bought that Stones box set. I still haven't, invested time into that yet, and I'm still, I've only gotten around to Dylan once for the Dylan box set.
Arnie, it's very nice of you to mention Shannon. She was, Shannon and I became, I thought, pretty good friends, and she had just a wonderful channel, and she did walk away from it, and she's had a child recently in the last few months. I emailed with her a few months back, maybe even longer than that, a year. But I should send her an email and say hi and see what's going on. But she would be more than welcome back into the vinyl community. She was just the most amazing channel.
Yeah, I didn't get into her until like the last probably 3 or 4 weeks that she was.
Yeah, she was such a nice person too. So yeah, Shannon, if you're watching, we miss you.
Briar,
I don't know what I got coming up for Briar. I did order that other Dawes album you told me about. The one you said.
Good. Nothing is wrong.
Yes, I ordered it off a UCD site
You'll love it.
They're bringing it in for me, so I'm waiting for it.
So thinking of you today, I was working home from day, so I spun Dream Scroller today.
I think it's a great record.
It's good, but it's not as good as Nothing Is Wrong.
I just like musically. I think it's their best album. Like I don't know lyrically or I love the guitar playing in that album.
Nothing Is Wrong is vastly superior to Doom Scroller.
Yeah, well, I'm interested in hearing that one. Dawes.
Oh, it's fantastic. There's some.
Did you ever listen to Dawes? You guys?
No, I know they. I mean, they hung around with a lot of people that I like. I think even Petty got into them.
I think you'd like them, Sam.
Well, I'll tell you, my boss at work, she loves music, and we talk about music all the time. Her and her family go to a lot of concerts, but she was talking about how their friends were like, "Oh, you got to come see Dawes with us." And like she said, "Oh, I don't know anything about them. Why would I want to go?" And so they said, "Come on, like we'll go." And so they went to this little venue around me, and she said it was like one of the best shows that she's seen.
Yeah, they're really good.
And now she's a big fan.
Yeah.
I know there was another band that I never got into. I never tried that were on Petty's label. Like he was kind of like their mentor before he died, called the Shelters.
I don't know.
They were named after Shelter Records, which was what Petty was on.
Yeah.
And they were like a big. He was like I think he produced their first album, and they were a band I've never tried to get into. But
interesting.
I think they're similar to Dawes, from what I understand.
JJ Cale's fantastic. I mean, you gotta love JJ Cale.
And to back John Mayer up again on his album Paradise Valley, he does do a version of "Call Me the Breeze," which I know is like the song that everybody covers, but he does a pretty good version of it.
JJ Cale never made a bad album, and there's a great Clapton they did a tribute album to JJ Cale. It's really good that Petty's on and Willie Nelson's on and everything. That's a really good record.
Yeah, because Petty and the Heartbreakers, they do 13 Days.
Yeah.
Is that did they do that on that album? Is that the song they do?
No, I can't remember what song they do on that album.
Because I know that's on the American Treasure.
I think the album's called The Breeze.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of like the sketch of him, like the cover. Yeah. But Clapton also did an album with him, didn't he?
Yes. Yeah, Rodesk and Dieter or something. It's not. I didn't think it was that good, but should have been.
Couldn't tell their voices apart. Their voices were so close.
Yeah. Once Clapton heard JJ Cale, that was his whole style. He became a JJ Cale clone.
Yeah,
like that mid '70s period. Like another Ticket and all those. Yeah.
No, I don't have anything other. I mean, like I said, I've got music I've got to listen to. I don't have anything coming in unless I pre-ordered it months ago and it's just coming out brand new. Like I know the Zombies album comes out next month. I think tomorrow we're going to hear about a new Marty Stewart record, which I'll pre-order for sure.
That'd be interesting. I don't really have anything other than that used Dawes album. That's it. I'm trying to keep a low profile for a bit, save up some cash. I got to get my car fixed this week.
Oh.
I got a bearing issue on my front wheel. It's like $500. It's going to cost me about $600.
When do you get to go back to see the granddaughter?
Tomorrow.
Are you? Are you staying for the weekend?
Driving in tomorrow. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'll spend the day there, and And then,
that's only about an hour from you, isn't it?
Yeah, an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too bad. My other daughter's coming up from Florida. She's coming in this week for 2 weeks. So we'll have the whole family together for a couple of weeks, which will be nice.
Yeah, I'm getting closer in terms of like music and things like that. I guess in 2 weeks from today, I'll be seeing Billy Strings.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, on the 21st.
He's great. That's that. I don't have any of his albums yet.
I don't either, and I probably will never. But he's one of those guys like you see him live for the live experience.
Yeah.
And then later that week, I'll be seeing Old Crow that Saturday.
Oh, that's cool.
Here in town. Yeah. So.
I got nothing. I was actually toying with the idea, maybe looking for a ticket for Robert Plant and Alison Krauss.
My cousin's going. His fiance bought him a ticket.
Yeah.
Because they're coming here a few days after my birthday. I know in May.
Now that's one I would get a lawn ticket for, to sit up in the thing. I can't afford to.
They just announced today in my area. Nickel Creek just announced their first tour in 9 years.
Wow, that'd be great to see.
So they put out like 15 or 20 dates.
Anytime Chris Thiley comes anywhere near me, I would crawl over broken glass to go see him play. He's one of the great musicians on the planet.
My sister saw him when he did like that solo mandolin tour where he was playing like Bach, and she said it was incredible.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's an amazing talent.
I just re-listened, and I don't know. I don't think you have it yet, Glenn. Is the that Punch Brothers?
No, I haven't bought it yet.
Hell on Church Street. Oh, it's so good.
It's in my Amazon cart. It's coming.
You got to get it. It's so good.
I know.
So,
yeah.
Well, I guess we'll talk about next week.
Yeah. Let's flip an email back, and then we'll let the fans know what we're doing.
You decide.
Yeah.
So,
well, my latest picks make both of you happy because I got a Zappa.
Oh, Overnight Sensation. Except for Dynamo Hum, that's a freaking great album. Dynamo Hum's good, okay, but it's just childish.
I got that one.
Oh, Bruised Orange.
One of the great. Yep. That's one of John Prine's greatest.
Fish and Whistle. Yeah.
Yeah, I have compilations by him. Like I don't have any of this.
Where'd you get that? Where'd you pick that up? Used or is that new?
It's new.
Yeah,
that's like the Oh Boy colored vinyl. It looks like.
That's a great record.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Oh Boy, they reissued all those albums on
vinyl.
Did they? Yeah, I want to say Aaron gave me a copy of that.
What
sealed. Yeah. No, sorry, that was just reissued. Bruised Orange and German Afternoons were just reissued for the first time since the 80s.
And any Bob Marley fan, so you guys know this record company called Acoustic Sounds. The guy's name's Chad Casson or something. And he makes all these kind of audiophile.
Yeah, I've got a couple of them.
They just released Bob Marley's Exodus.
Yeah.
Today, and people are losing their freaking
mind.
It's the UHBQ. I think it's like $150 or something.
Yeah, it's the mega. Yeah, it's the
ones that are losing their minds. I'm on the Steve Hoppen forum, and they've closed the site has been shut down because there's so many people trying to get to buy this thing. But then I found out that there's a record company in Jamaica. I think it's what was his label, Tough something or other, that a lot of those albums came on. They resurrected themselves, and they're producing the records, and they're reissuing the whole Bob Marley catalog, and it's going to start getting released in another month or two. So,
there you go.
For those of you who didn't buy $150 Exodus, you wait a month or two. You're going to be able to buy the reissues. So,
yeah, I think my days of doing that are done.
I can't do those,
especially opening them up, and you got split seams and all that.
You had a nightmare with that Muddy Waters album.
Yeah, I'm just so discouraged. Even I've gotten so many box sets that have had that issue with it. It's like, man, you're paying that. Yeah.
How are you enjoying Folk Singer anyway? The Muddy Waters album.
Oh, it sounds great. Even with the little.
Yeah.
The second one wasn't so bad. I have a third one over there, so I might open it and see if that's the better one because
it's insane. Paying $250 for a record or whatever, and you get it, and the record's warped, and there's got to be better quality control when you're charging those kind of dollars.
Yeah, and then the crazy thing, it falls back on the record store because you contact MoFi and they're like, well, if you didn't buy it direct from us, you have to go through your retailer.
Yeah.
And now they're stuck with it. But supposedly they get a credit or something. So
it's just crap.
Yeah,
I'm done with that. I'm not into those audiophile albums. That's a different world than I live in.
Yeah, I fell into that trap of, this is the best ever and blah, blah. I don't need that. I don't have the greatest system anyway. I have a decent system. Mm-hmm. So buying
you really have Dylan's Blonde on Blonde album, my second favorite album of all time, my favorite Dylan album. I bought the MoFi 3-record set, 45 RPM. I'm listening to it. It sounds great. But I've got an original pressing, stereo pressing, and I've got the mono pressing from the mono box. And to tell you the truth, when I put them on, I enjoy those pressings just as much.
Yeah.
And I sold the MoFi one. I sold it basically for what I paid for it. It was $200 or something. It's just.
Well, yeah. And again, who wants 3 songs on one side of an album too? As good as it sounds.
Yeah. Tough Gong Records in Jamaica. Thank you, Jason. Yeah, I understand they're reissuing all the Bob Marley records, which should be pretty cool. You guys like Marley?
Oh yeah.
You know, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he
just
wasn't typical reggae. He had a little rock in there. He had
He's
special.
Well, even the song Exodus is kind of it's jammy.
Yeah.
Or jamming.
That's my favorite album of his.
The song Buffalo Soldier will always remind me of college.
Yeah.
Yeah, we sang it all the time. And then Redemption Song is one of my go-to picking songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Redemption Song.
Yeah. His records always sounded so good too. They just sound amazing.
Yeah, when they put out that Legend, that compilation, that's when he got on my radar. Because all you heard was the typical stuff. But when that came out and Redemption Song and all that, forget it.
Yeah.
I was like,
that album is the biggest selling reggae album in history.
Oh yeah, by a long shot.
It sounds so good. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to find a collection of people have their collections that don't own that album.
Yeah.
Yeah, incredible.
Matt makes a good point here.
Still can't afford them yet.
The really thing is that when I was a teenager, I didn't have enough money to buy albums. Now that I'm an adult, I still can't afford albums. Yeah.
Well, Matt, be thankful you live in the U.S. Glenn and I are paying double for records that you're paying up here.
I know. We get ripped off really bad.
We get screwed every day.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Although I got that, I was surprised I got the Bob Weir Ace album. It was still $40 for the colored vinyl, but
yeah,
I thought it was going to be $50. Wow.
All right, guys. I'm
good time.
Head out.
Thanks for hosting, Rob.
Yeah,
no problem. I hope I did an okay job. It was my first time. So.
Fantastic. Anytime you want to host again, buddy, let me know.
How many do we have on at peak performance?
We were up to about 25 at one point.
Okay.
That's cool. Yeah, that's good.
Really good.
Yeah, that's all we need.
And I think before we go, I have to do this one more time.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
I can't hear it. Yeah, I can't hear that one. It just says tap for sound on my screen. I don't know why.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's got some big buzzers in there. It's pretty good. Yeah. Sounds like somebody scored a goal.
Yeah, thanks for kind of including me as a fourth wheel, guys. I appreciate getting up here.
No problem. We love having you on. You're welcome anytime as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
I know these other guys don't want you on, but I love having you on, John.
I got Glenn's vote. That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
Just keep making shorts for him, John.
Yeah. Just keep them shorts coming, buddy.
Keep them out of my stream. Keep them out of my stream.
You guys have a great night.
Night, everybody.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Thanks.
Thanks, Rob. Okay. Sam.
Take care.
Bye.
Take care.
How do I get out of here? Oh, you got to shut it off.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody.
I'm out. Take care, buddy.
Bye.